Little Mecha Merchant. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination. So don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like. And if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 1 Time Travel. Mecha, Sector 32, Mecha Junkyard. A torrential downpour ravaged the area, quickly turning the ground into a muddy mess, riddled with puddles. After a long while, the rain gradually subsided, eventually becoming a light drizzle. In the junkyard, amidst a pile of rusty, discarded mecha parts, a mecha arm the size of a door, broken in two, suddenly twitched clang. With a loud crash, the half-arm was sent flying. The immense force not only flipped the arm into the air but also caused it to spin over 720 degrees before falling to the ground. Damn it, did the previous owner of this body live in a place like this? A young man, around 20 years old, emerged from where the mecha arm had been. He hung his head, speechlessly surveying the surrounding mountains of discarded mecha parts. Just then, the mecha arm in mid-air crashed to the ground, splashing up a large spray of water mixed with mud. Ouch, the young man exclaimed, quickly pulling back. But even without the mecha arm, he was still covered in filth. Yang Hong, you idiot, could you have grabbed a metal plate to block it? Seeing his reaction, a slightly lewd sneer suddenly rang out. You damn bug, daring to laugh at me, are you looking for death? Yang Hong instantly felt a surge of anger. He raised his right hand and vigorously rubbed his palm against the mud on his body several times. Stop. Stop. You stop for me, HMPH. See if you dare laugh at me again, Yang Hong snorted when he saw the mud on his right hand, venting his anger. However, if anyone else were here and saw Yang Hong's right palm, they would definitely feel a chill run down their spine. Because on the palm of his hand was a sinister little face that looked almost exactly like his own. This little face, occupying the entire palm, differed from the real person only in its eyes. It had no pupils, just pure black, a sinister black. You're ruthless, I'll let it slide this time. With no control over its body, the little face spat out filth, its expression one of helpless indignation. Its small black eyes gazed up at the sky. Heavens! My insect life is utterly ruined, ruined by trash, ruined by trash, ruined by super trash. The little face chanted like a mantra, and countless black lines flew from Yang Hong's head. Go to hell. Yang Hong, haven't even complained. What are you yelling at me for? This wasn't surprising, because an hour ago, he was enjoying a wonderful life in another dimension, enjoying the highest level of a wonderful life, delicious food. Through a food-related group, Yang Hong found a food supplier, a strange, tiny, unassuming shop specializing in fried rice, and only offering that one dish. However, the fried rice was truly amazing, although it cost 188 yuan. It was so delicious it made you want to swallow your tongue. If it weren't for the owner's infuriating business practices, limiting each person to one serving per day, he planned to eat from morning till night, and then from night till all night long, until his stomach was completely full. Just after the shop launched a 288 yuan fried rice set meal, Yang Hong actually fulfilled his wish. He really ate until he was stuffed. And he even died from it. Unfortunately, he didn't die from the delicious fried rice itself, but rather from eating his own terribly made fried rice while reminiscing about that delicious dish after returning home. Damn it, Yang Hong felt like crying when he thought about it. He died from overeating, but he had no regrets. But he ended up dying from overeating his own fried rice, which had more salt and soy sauce than rice, a truly tragic outcome. Well, dying from fried rice is fine, it's secondary. Yang Hong could choose to ignore it. Because through this near-death experience, he learned a truth: people really can time travel. Now, he had time traveled, and entered another body with the same name in another time and space. Before time travel, Yang Hong was a fan of online novels, having read countless time travel stories. In every novel, the protagonist received a super weapon after time travel. With this weapon, he could easily defeat anyone, from the old folks' home in Nanshan to the kindergarten in Bihai, taking down anyone under a meter tall. Thinking of this, Yang Hong glanced at the little face in his right palm and immediately felt a wave of exasperation. This was supposed to be the super weapon? At that moment, The little face was still wailing and howling, as if the heavens owed it a fortune. Well, even though Yang Hong wasn't one to suffer losses, he had no choice but to accept his fate with this strange guy. After all, this guy was his ultimate weapon after transmigrating. By searching the memories of this body, Yang Hong quickly understood the current situation. This guy with the same name had lived in this mecha junkyard area since childhood, making a living by finding usable resources in the mecha junk and selling them to the repair shop. However, not long ago, a gang appeared in this area, forcibly buying up their scrap resources at low prices, which naturally aroused the dissatisfaction of this body's owner. However, the other party seemed to have a powerful background, and actually used him as a scapegoat, forcibly beating him half to death and burying him alive in the mecha junk. At this moment, a strange insect appeared underground, taking advantage of the body's weakened consciousness, forcibly parasitizing the body, intending to take over the physical body. But just as the insect was about to succeed, Yang Hong's consciousness from another time and space also arrived in this body and quickly seized control of the physical body. Yang Hong didn't know the origin of this strange insect, but fortunately, in his memory, he seemed to be the only one who possessed something like it. Since it was unique, it could naturally be used as a powerful weapon. However, there was still one thing to solve. Yang Hong didn't know the insect's abilities. He glanced at the small face out of the corner of his eye, and his eyes darted around. Strange insect, what exactly are you? Call me Insect Lord, you? Call me Insect Lord, damn it! Yang Hong felt like the black lines on his face were about to fly off. Fine. Yang Hong took a few deep breaths, suppressing his dissatisfaction, and forced himself to calm down. He awkwardly asked, Insect Lord, what abilities do you have, HMPH? You're smart enough to know what's good for you. A weak smile first appeared on his face, but it quickly turned into a miserable one. I, Insect Lord, am the only supreme being in this universe, the strongest being in this world. But I never expected to be parasitized in a useless body, wasting my insect life, sighed Amit. Yang Hong was speechless with anger. What did he mean by wasting his insect life? And what did he mean by parasitizing a useless body? Was this body really that useless? Yang Hong looked at his physique. Not bad at all, not too fat, not too thin, just right for the appearance of a normal human. And if this physique were on a woman, it would be a perfect figure, except for the curves. Okay, he was a bit thin, Yang Hong accepted that, but this body was at least almost exactly the same as before he transmigrated, so he could still accept it. However, all of that is secondary. Right now, Yang Hong needs to understand the strange insect's abilities, as this is crucial to whether he can properly enjoy his life after transmigrating. There's a saying that's true, life is like a rapist. Since you've been raped, instead of being depressed and gloomy, you might as well just enjoy it. Enjoying life, enjoying living, this is a principle that Yang Hong has always adhered to. Chapter 2 My eating is the same as your eating. Mecha Junkyard, bar number 12. In Yang Hong's memories, bar number 12 was not only the largest bar in the entire junkyard area, but also offered a full range of services. Everything imaginable was available. Soon, Yang Hong arrived at the bar's entrance. However, upon seeing its architectural style, his face immediately fell. Even the devouring insect expressed the same disdain. Yang Hong, is this the place you invited me to a lavish meal? The reason was simple. Bar number 12 looked like a giant junkyard hastily cobbled together from pieces of trash from the mecha junkyard. The broken mecha arms, mecha heads, and various mecha parts were all covered in rust and riddled with holes. Yang Hong even suspected that these seemingly makeshift structures might be blown down by a gust of wind. Oh well, what's done is done, Yang Hong comforted the devouring insect. Actually, Yang Hong had no choice. After searching through all his memories, bar number 12 was the most luxurious place the original owner of this body had ever been to. Because the devouring insect's tiny face was so terrifying, at Yang Hong's request, it had to temporarily erase the face, restoring its palm to its original state. However, just as Yang Hong stepped into bar number 12, the previously noisy place suddenly became completely silent. Seeing everyone's eyes on him, Yang Hong felt a little embarrassed. Looks like I'm quite famous. At this moment, Hong Bao and the others also arrived at the bar. Hearing this, he almost spat out blood. What do you mean quite famous? If it weren't for the news that you were beaten half to death by the Wild Wolf Gang today and buried under mecha junk, who wouldn't be afraid of you? Hong Bao thought to himself. Seeing that no one paid any attention to him, Yang Hong walked directly to a waiter carrying a tray of drinks. "Prepare a large meal for me." Okay, the waiter replied nervously. After waiting a moment, seeing the waiter still standing there, Yang Hong frowned. "You're not going to expect me to eat standing up, are you?" Yes. "This way, please, this way." The waiter's heart, which had finally calmed down, was startled again by Yang Hong's sudden outburst. Leading Yang Hong to a large round table that could easily seat 6 people, the waiter touched his heart again, trying to calm himself before asking, "Sir, what kind of feast would you like? What kind of feast do you have here?" Yang Hong said, gesturing to the table. "Is it as big as this table?" The waiter was dumbfounded. Those whose eyes had been fixed on Yang Hong also stared wide-eyed, looking like they wanted to laugh but couldn't, feeling extremely uncomfortable. Not only them, but even Hong Bao, who had brought the group, had his face twitching. This was the first time they had ever heard of a feast being measured by size, and the round table was a full 1.5 meters in diameter. Even pizza wasn't that big. "Sir, our main courses here are for 4, 6, and 12 people. If you order the 6-person portion, this table should still be able to accommodate you." The waiter reacted quickly, recovering immediately. And the 12-person portion, Yang Hong was currently only interested in storing more bioelectric energy within his body. 12 people, the waiter was dumbfounded again. He first stared blankly at Yang Hong, then glanced towards the bar entrance. When he saw Hong Bao and his group, he nodded. 12 people. 6,000 star coins in total. We've been discovered. Hong Bao was startled and quickly lowered his head, leading the others to another table. Since the planet had been unified, paper money had been abolished, and a completely new currency system was used, digital currency, and the carrier was the electronic bracelet on each person's wrist. Yang Hong activated his electronic bracelet, but seeing only 5,000 star coins inside, he was embarrassed. He touched his nose and asked, "How much is a 6-person portion?" "A 6-person portion is 4,000 star coins." "Then give me a 6-person portion." Yang Hong quickly paid, adding, "I originally wanted a 12-person portion, but this table is too small." The waiter's lips twitched. Did he really think he was blind? He clearly didn't have enough money. Why was he pretending? After paying, the waiter hurriedly left, and the gazes that had been fixed on Yang Hong gradually withdrew. The bar returned to its original noisy atmosphere, because they had also realized that Yang Hong was a real person. They had no interest in a living person, even if she was female, let alone a penniless one like Yang Hong. Apart from a few curious glances at Yang Hong and the others following closely behind, no one paid any more attention. Soon, a 6-person meal filled the entire table. Yang Hong ignored everything else and began to devour his food. "Yang Hong, didn't you say you'd treat me to a big meal?" The devouring worm inside him cried out anxiously. "Aren't you in the same body as me?" Yang Hong's hands didn't slow down at all. Instead, he sped up his wolfing down of food. "What I eat is the same as what you eat. Besides eating, you might as well convert the excess food into bioenergy." His stomach had been rumbling for a while after the devouring worm released its energy several times, and he also wanted to try the food in this space-time to see what was different. If he added more food, he would definitely eat less. Moreover, Yang Hong had already noticed Hong Bao and his group, but he didn't want to make contact too early, as he needed to replenish his bioenergy. Otherwise, the fight wouldn't be as satisfying. Yang Hong the devouring worm roared. "You damn worm, didn't you see those people? If we don't replenish our energy, we'll be at a disadvantage later," Yang Hong said. "You win," the devouring worm said helplessly. Hong Bao's table. "Brother Bao, look, Yang Hong is definitely alive. Can we go back now?" "Yeah, Brother Bao, that kid was dressed in rags, clearly didn't have any treasure." "Right, I saw it too. When he paid, he only had a little over 5,000 star coins in his bracelet. If he really got something, it would be worth much more." "Shut up, all of you," Hong Bao hissed. He knew Yang Hong's situation better than anyone else. He had initially been afraid Yang Hong had been resurrected under some special circumstance, which was why he brought a group of men for reassurance. Now, Hong Bao couldn't leave, because he had already sent someone to inform the Wild Wolf Gang. If the Wild Wolf Gang arrived but couldn't find Yang Hong, they would definitely turn their anger on him. "Who among you will go and test him?" Hong Bao asked. Hearing this, the men exchanged glances and immediately lowered their heads. "You?" Hong Bao's red, bulbous nose twitched with anger. 1,000 star coins. Whoever goes, Hong Bao, will transfer the money immediately. Hong Bao's eyes flashed with a sinister light. Brother Bao, it's not about the money. One of them was clearly tempted, but still maintained an unmoved expression. 2,000 star coins, Hong Bao growled in a low voice. Transfer it. The man's eyes lit up, and he immediately extended his right wristband. Hong Bao's face was grim, revealing a pained expression, as he transferred 2,000 star coins to the man. Apologies for the busy schedule making roast meats as it's approaching Qingming Festival. Chapter 3 Singing Songs. Yang Hong ate quickly, and the devouring worms in his body converted the excess food just as quickly. In no time, the entire meal for 6 people was finished. Still not full, feeling that his stomach was only about 70–80% full, Yang Hong blinked. Waiter, Yang Hong immediately snapped his fingers. A waiter immediately came forward. Give me. Yang Hong hadn't finished speaking when he suddenly shuddered. He remembered that he only had a little over 1,000 star coins in his bracelet, while this meal for 6 people would cost 4,000 star coins. Seeing Yang Hong's words stop abruptly, the waiter immediately asked, Sir, is there anything else you need? Give me these scraps and put them on a plate. Yang Hong pointed to the remaining food scraps on the plate. The waiter was dumbfounded, but out of professionalism, he quickly shoved the food scraps onto a plate. Not bad, still edible. Yang Hong stuck out his tongue and quickly licked the plate clean. Seeing his appearance, the waiter next to him was so ashamed he almost covered his face and ran away. Even the man who had taken the money and wanted to inquire about the situation stumbled and immediately lowered his head, not daring to approach. If you don't have money, just ask. Do you have to lick the plate? This is bar number 12, the man thought to himself, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Hong Bao and the others, who were further away, all withdrew their gazes, pretending not to recognize Yang Hong. Damn it, this is bar number 12, the most luxurious one in this area, yet he's behaving like a pauper. If they went up to chat him up, wouldn't they just be asking for trouble? Sir, would you like me to bring you a fruit platter? Considering that Yang Hong had spent the equivalent of a 6-person meal, the waiter finally couldn't hold back any longer. What do you know? Yang Hong said righteously after licking the last bite. Waste. People who live in the garbage dump can't tolerate even the slightest waste of food. Waste is a shameful thing. Understand? Understood? Understood. The waiter was also born in the garbage dump, and if he hadn't gotten this job, he probably wouldn't be much better off. Hearing Yang Hong's instructions, he nodded vigorously. By the way, does the fruit platter you mentioned still count? Yang Hong blinked and leaned closer to the waiter to ask in a low voice. Fruit platter. The waiter was stunned for a moment, then quickly shook his head. No. After listening to Yang Hong's lecture, the waiter naturally planned to keep the fruit platter and take it home for his family to enjoy. Why would he waste it? Damn it, Yang Hong couldn't help but curse. If you don't have money, just say so. You promised to bring a fruit platter. What happened? The waiter was on the verge of tears. Waste is shameful. Isn't that what you taught him? You deadbug, why did you transform so quickly? At the same time, Yang Hong was also cursing the devouring worm in his heart. Just in case, the devouring insect's innocent voice echoed in his mind. By the way, Yang Hong, Insect Master seems to have seen something even more fun over there. Following its direction, Yang Hong noticed a soundproof booth on the left side of the bar. Peeking through the narrow door, he saw it was a large dance hall. Alright, it's been a long time since I've sung and danced. Let's have some fun today. Yang Hong nodded, ignoring the waiter, and walked straight over. He's gone. Seeing Yang Hong leave, the man who had taken the money stood up and shrugged at Hong Bao. Follow him, Hong Bao quickly gestured. One thing at a time. If you follow him, you'll have to pay extra, the man also gestured. Seeing what had happened earlier, he knew that if he followed Yang Hong, he would definitely be in trouble. Seeing this gesture, Hong Bao almost spat out blood. Do you really think I'm an ATM? He roared inwardly, his eyes widening, the anger in his gaze almost burning the man who had taken the money to ashes. 2,000 star coins, you really took 2,000 star coins, Hong Bao frantically gestured. The man who had taken the money looked indifferent, he hadn't wanted to follow Yang Hong in the first place, and seeing that he wasn't going to pay, he ignored Hong Bao's gestures. You'll see when we get back. Hong Bao was furious, and he stood up abruptly, striding after Yang Hong. Seeing him leave, the others immediately exchanged glances and quietly left bar 12. As soon as they stepped into the dance hall, a deafening roar filled their ears. The devouring worm seemed extremely agitated by this sound, which was beyond the tolerance of most people. Yang Hong, listen to this. The rhythm, the melody, it's so catchy, catchy. Yang Hong was speechless. He asked, "You deadbug, you've never heard music before, have you?" Music? The devouring worm was clearly taken aback. "I've only ever fought and killed before. I really don't know what music is. This kind of life is too boring." Yang Hong waved his hand. "Come on, let me show you what music is." Yang Hong strode across the dance floor, ignoring the idle dancers swaying their heads, and went straight to the stage. On the stage, a group of beautiful women with graceful figures were constantly displaying extraordinary dance moves on a steel pole. Seeing Yang Hong come on stage, one of the beautiful women, holding a microphone and with a voluptuous figure, immediately excitedly came forward and pulled him into her arms. These waves, these voluptuous waves. Yang Hong took a deep breath, his face full of enjoyment. However, his expression quickly turned strange, because he felt a hardness within the surge, a hardness comparable to bone. Perhaps, it could even be compared to diamonds. Damn, it's fake? Yang Hong was furious. "Get out!" He shoved the woman with the fake breasts away, snatching the microphone along with her. Ignoring her resentful gaze, Yang Hong roared at the crowd on the dance floor. "Come on, everyone, let's get hyped." Music. Yang Hong snapped his fingers. As the radio played upbeat music, the crowd on the dance floor became even more excited, shaking their heads and chests, even their butts. After testing the microphone, Yang Hong finally began to sing. Child, why are you so bad, bullying, deceiving, why did you do it?" After only 2 lines of lyrics, the radio music suddenly stopped, and even the crowd on the dance floor abruptly stopped moving, staring blankly at Yang Hong on the stage. "What song is this? What is this song about? This is a dance hall, a dance hall, a dance hall. I'll repeat myself 3 times, dot." Just as Yang Hong was about to sing the next line, people in the crowd started throwing things excitedly. There weren't rotten vegetables or eggs in the dance hall, but there were plenty of empty bottles, glasses, and smelly shoes. In the blink of an eye, the stage was piled high with broken glass and a whole layer of smelly shoes. The voluptuous women had long since disappeared. Learn to be a good child. This scene meant nothing to Yang Hong. He glanced at the shoes on the stage, already planning to sell them and use the money for a 12-person feast. Clang. Just then, the radio DJ couldn't resist either, throwing the electronic music controller onto the stage. Chapter 4. After finishing the song, "Let's dance." "Boss, I think my back is broken," Hong Bao cried. The leader's face immediately turned sinister, and a flash of blue light appeared on the green wolf head on his cheek. His gaze fell on Yang Hong. "Did you do this, and who are you?" Yang Hong retorted nonchalantly, and as he spoke, he stomped his foot hard again. "Ouch!" Hong Bao screamed in pain. The leader gave Yang Hong a vicious once-over. He recognized Yang Hong, of course, because he was the one who orchestrated this. Although he didn't know why the other man was standing in front of him, he narrowed his eyes and waved his hand, grabbed the kid. Instantly, a group of burly men wielding steel knives charged towards Yang Hong, howling like wolves. "Dare to cause trouble at bar number 12? I wondered who it was, but it's just you bunch of wolf cubs." However, just as they were about to reach Yang Hong, a sharp shout suddenly came from the other side of the dance hall. "How about it? You've only been here a few days, and you already think you can take our number 12 bar seriously? Do you want to turn this junkyard upside down?" A burly man in his 30s, accompanied by a young woman, entered the dance hall. Many of the people who hadn't left looked at the burly man with admiration, but when they saw the young woman, their expressions instantly became intrigued and envious. The burly man was Gu Fengren, the manager of number 12 bar. It was said that he had participated in numerous Mecha competitions, and his superb skills had even caught the attention of high-ranking military officials more than once. Yet, for some reason, he chose to establish number 12 bar in the junkyard area. The young woman accompanying him was named Su Yinru, Gu Fengren's adopted daughter. She displayed extraordinary business acumen in founding number 12 bar, making it the largest bar in the entire junkyard area in a short time, and a highly admired talent in the eyes of everyone in the area. "Boss Gu, this is a private matter for our Wild Wolf Gang. Please don't interfere," the Wild Wolf Gang leader said with a forced laugh. "Is that so?" Gu Fengren casually found a seat and sat down. "Yinru, you sit too." Let's see how the Wild Wolf Gang handles the private matter in our bar number 12. Suyinru smiled and sat down to the side. The leader was embarrassed. He had originally thought that the other party would give him face and let the matter drop, but he didn't expect the other party to leave no room for compromise. When the Wild Wolf Gang first arrived, they originally planned to take down bar number 12 first to establish their reputation. However, they didn't expect the other party to have terrifying mecha piloting skills. They destroyed more than 10 of the Wild Wolf Gang's mechas with just one ordinary mecha. They had no choice but to change their original plan and choose Yang Hong, this troublemaker. But things have taken an unexpected turn. The leader's eyes darted around, and he immediately waved his hand again. Take that kid down, then leave number 12 immediately. He had already planned it out. Yang Hong had no background, and they were just arresting someone in number 12. As long as they gave Gu Fengren enough face afterward, the matter would be dropped. Seeing that Gu Fengren was still sitting in the same spot, his expression unchanged, the leader immediately calmed down. We are civilized people, we'll take him alive, no knives. The man with the knife sheathed his steel knife with a clang and charged at Yang Hong again. Civilized people? No knives, Yang Hong chuckled. Even if knives were used, he wouldn't be afraid, let alone not using knives at all. Yang Hong, you have to include me in the fight. Clack clack clack. The devouring insect was eager for chaos. Although it shouldn't show itself in this situation, it could still communicate with Yang Hong through its mind. However, for someone who wanted to live peacefully in this time and space, fighting and killing were not a good thing, and Yang Hong didn't want to be too high profile. Keep it low-key, Yang Hong said. I'm not one to like fighting and killing, go to hell, the devouring worm retorted angrily. If you don't like fighting and killing, then what's the point of me converting bioelectricity? Isn't this just in case? Yang Hong shrugged. There's a saying, better safe than sorry. Seeing the Wild Wolf Gang members approaching, Yang Hong suddenly said, you deadbug, after we finish singing, how about we dance? Dance. The devouring worm was confused. What's dancing? Yang Hong was even more confused. Bug, you don't just know how to fight and kill, do you? Yang Hong said speechlessly. That's right, the devouring worm said matter-of-factly. My former host was someone who only knew how to fight and kill. After fighting and killing, no one dared to bully him. Of course, the most important thing is that you two are both named Yang Hong, otherwise I wouldn't bother with you. The devouring worm added in its mind. Damn, your life is so boring, Yang Hong said disdainfully. He snapped his fingers, music as if in sync with his snap. The electronic music player already slammed onto the stage suddenly blared a high-energy tune. Life is about singing and dancing. Facing the pursuit of the Wild Wolf Gang, Yang Hong straightened his body, puffed out his chest, thrust his waist, and twisted his hips, immediately starting to dance on the spot. A burly man cooperated perfectly, his right hand forming a fist as he swung at Yang Hong. Yang Hong, however, used his left hand to grab and pull the man in front of him, then kicked out with a precise dance move. Yang Hong's body, strengthened more than twice by the parasitic presence of the devouring worm, sent the man flying nearly 10 meters with a single kick. Immediately afterward, another burly man appeared precisely behind Yang Hong. But Yang Hong's dance move required a back kick, and this man was helplessly kicked another 10 meters away. Of course, we also need delicious food and beautiful women. Yang Hong teasingly beckoned to Su Yinru, but just then, another burly man happened to block their path. Yang Hong flicked his finger, sending the man flying sideways. Seeing Su Yinru reappear before him, he gave her a flirtatious wink. Watching Yang Hong kick another burly man in the buttocks, sending him flying quite a distance, coupled with a flirtatious wink from a grown man, Su Yinru could no longer contain herself and burst out laughing, covering her mouth. Cough cough. Only after hearing 2 coughs did she lower her head shyly, but her eyes still couldn't help but glance at Yang Hong out of the corner of her eye. Yang Hong's dance moves were excellent, precise and graceful, even comparable to those of highly flexible dancers. Moreover, the men of the Wild Wolf Gang were also very effective, delivering themselves to him one by one, allowing him to knock them to the ground with a kick and 2 punches. Soon, all the members of the Wild Wolf Gang carrying knives fell to the ground, leaving only the leader with a livid face. If you're going to dance, then dance. Don't just keep dancing in the same spot. At Yang Hong's feet, Hong Bao's tears flowed freely. Chapter 5, Exhilarating, Painful Yet Pleasant. This weirdo, Seeing Yang Hong easily take down the Wild Wolf Gang members, and in such an unusual way, Su Yinru's eyes sparkled. Although she showed extraordinary talent in business, she was still a girl at heart, and one pampered by Gu Fengren with little social experience. Naturally, she was attracted to Yang Hong's flirting and his unconventional style. Cough 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 cough. You is so annoying, disturbing my peeping. The coughing made Su Yinru frown. But when she saw her adoptive father's amused gaze, her pretty face instantly flushed red, and she lowered her head shyly. HMPH, Gu Fengren then turned and glanced at the livid Wild Wolf Gang leader, before fixing his sharp gaze on Yang Hong. You brat, how dare you seduce my little darling right in front of me? At this moment, Gu Fengren's expression towards Yang Hong turned hostile. Have you resolved your matter? Gu Fengren asked sternly. Didn't you see? Yang Hong shrugged and retorted. However, just as he put his feet down, he suddenly felt uncomfortable. Looking down, he couldn't help but frown. Hey! You big red nose, how did you get under my feet? No wonder I felt a little uncomfortable dancing. You've been stepping on me the whole time, Hong Bao thought, his heart bleeding. Hearing Yang Hong's shameless words, Su Yinru almost laughed until her stomach cramped, but with her adoptive father beside her, she dared not laugh out loud. The suppressed laughter made her shoulders shake uncontrollably. Get lost, go away. Yang Hong was displeased and kicked Hong Bao away. That felt good. That felt good. Finally rid of this jinx. Although Hong Bao's body was in pain, he felt extremely happy inside. Once he was far enough away from Yang Hong, he immediately stood up despite his back pain. However, after catching a glimpse of the jinx out of the corner of his eye, he shuddered, immediately lay back down, and rolled out the door. Yang Hong was dumbfounded. Gu Fengren was dumbfounded too. The leader of the Wild Wolf Gang was stunned. Su Yinru's shoulders trembled even more violently. After a long while, Gu Fengren coughed awkwardly and asked the leader of the Wild Wolf Gang, Ahem, by the way, what's your name again? Actually, he remembered the man's name earlier, but after Hong Bao rolled away, he forgot it on the spot. You? The leader's eyes almost spit fire as he replied hatefully, I am Ling Feng of the Wild Wolf Gang. Oh, Ling Feng, you should also know the rules of our number 12 bar, right? Gu Fengren nodded and said. It would have been better if this hadn't been mentioned, because mentioning it almost made Ling Feng vomit blood. He had received word that he was coming to deal with the aftermath, but he hadn't expected that not only were his men easily dealt with, but one coward had even rolled out in front of everyone, truly embarrassing the Wild Wolf Gang. At this moment, Ling Feng had no choice. After all, in the junkyard, Bar 12 was a considerable force. You'd better clear the way, Ling Feng said with a grim face. What way can I clear? Gu Fengren laughed. This is the Mecha junkyard, and our Bar 12 upholds Mecha supremacy, so you can only choose Mecha battle to solve the problem. Of course, our Bar 12 can also open a betting pool through this Mecha battle. When it came to the transaction, Su Yinru finally recovered. She put on a stern face and said in a sweet voice, for the benefit of both of you, you must hand over your most valuable possessions as betting funds. Whoever wins the betting pool will get all the betting funds. Su Yinru glanced at Ling Feng, then her eyes lit up again as she stared intently at Yang Hong. Can I refuse? Ling Feng's smile was bitter as he looked at his men lying on the ground. Can I refuse? Yang Hong was stunned and asked back. Although he still had the same body, he was new here and didn't know how to operate a mecha. Faced with this mecha duel, he naturally refused. No, Gu Fengren's eyes were sharp as he stared at Yang Hong. You have no choice, unless you cut off your own arm. Cut off my own arm. Yang Hong was furious. That's what happens when you cause trouble at Bar 12, Su Yinru said. That's one thing, and you even flirted with my little darling. Gu Fengren glared at Yang Hong, secretly resentful. If I were you, I would definitely agree, Su Yinru advised. Why should I agree? Yang Hong snorted. Su Yinru pointed at Ling Feng. He's the Wild Wolf Gang's manager in the junkyard. He has a lot of good stuff. If you can win the mecha battle, you'll definitely reap a rich reward. You all think I'm a sucker? Ling Feng's face was as black as charcoal. Damn it. Yang Hong's lips twitched. I only have a little over 1,000 star coins on me. How come I didn't know that winning would bring a huge reward? But the problem is, I don't know how to operate a mecha. Isn't this just suicide? Only an idiot would do that. Yang Hong's thoughts were practically written all over his face. PFFT. Seeing his face, Su Yinru covered her mouth and laughed again. Seeing her repeated changes today, Gu Fengren couldn't stand it anymore. Is it really true that daughters grow up and leave home? Gu Fengren's face darkened. He turned to Ling Feng with a stern expression and said, Ling Feng, take out your most valuable possession. Ling Feng, his face dark, rummaged through his clothes, then pulled out his bracelet. After a while, here's over 200,000 star coins. That should be quite valuable, right? Over 200,000 star coins? Yang Hong's eyes lit up. His initial intention to refuse was thwarted. Over 200,000 star coins. Gu Fengren's face darkened, and even Su Yinru's gaze towards him became displeased. Ling Feng was furious. That kid has at most 5,000 star coins on him. I'm already giving him more than 200,000 star coins, which is more than enough. This is number 12, isn't it? There's no such thing as giving face here. Gu Fengren's eyes were sharp as he said coldly, if we don't help you, and you're confident you can walk out alive, then go ahead and try. You? Ling Feng's shoulders trembled with anger. But when he thought of Gu Fengren's mecha skills, which allowed him to fight 10 men at once, and Yang Hong's ability to easily sweep away all his subordinates, he had to force himself to endure it. After taking a few deep breaths, Ling Feng pulled out a palm-sized black metal box from his body. This is a share certificate for a Mecha parts center that our wild wolf gang recently retrieved from the junkyard. It's worth more than 2 million star coins. If you have the ability, then win this share certificate from me. Ling Feng's sinister eyes stared fiercely at Yang Hong. Chapter 6, Sticking Out Your Butt and Handing Over the Stick. Seeing Ling Feng pull out the share certificate, Gu Fengren and Su Yinru exchanged a knowing smile. Su Yinru immediately took it, checked it using her electronic bracelet, and nodded. Damn. Over 2 million. Yang Hong was shocked. However, when he heard Ling Feng's sinister words, he couldn't help but chuckle. Yang Hong only had a little over 1,000 star coins on him. Even if he lost everything, that would be all he had. But if he won, he would suddenly gain over 2 million. It was a win-win situation. Most importantly, with his body enhanced by the devouring worm, he would never die, no matter how careless he was. As long as he was careful, even without knowing how to operate a mecha, he could survive. Moreover, through a large meal, the devouring worm had converted a sufficient amount of bioelectric energy. If used properly, the outcome could be. Thinking of this, Yang Hong was filled with pride. Little brat, eh, Yang Hong, accept this bet, then it's your turn to hand over your most valuable possession. Upon hearing this, Su Yinru's eyes immediately lit up. She was one of the ones who had pushed this bet forward. Yang Hong rarely showed a shy expression. He coughed, then held out his hand, pointing to his filthy clothes. Look, how much are these clothes worth? What? Su Yinru was clearly stunned. PFFT, Ling Feng opened his mouth and immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Gu Fengren was also in a bad mood. He had just taken a glass of water, but before he could even drink from it, he spat it out, almost choking. Gu Fengren looked Yang Hong up and down, his lips twitching. These clothes, even if they were clean, would definitely not cost more than 10 star coins. 10 star coins, and you think you can win big with a small investment, like over 2 million in stock certificates? Ling Feng was practically fuming. Su Yinru asked with amusement, don't you still have over 1,000 star coins in your bracelet? How do you know my privacy? You haven't been following me all this time, have you? Yang Hong clutched his bracelet, looking frightened. Those 1,000+ star coins could at least buy him 1 or 2 more meals. Losing them like this wouldn't be worth it. Su Yinru looked defeated. You were already known when you were having a big meal. Yang Hong instantly became speechless. His bracelet has over 200,000 star coins, and you still don't accept it? So why are you fixated on my bracelet? Su Yinru was exasperated. Besides the bracelet, do you have anything more valuable on you? This. I don't think so. Yang Hong glanced at himself from head to toe. Actually, he did have something more valuable, but Yang Hong was unwilling to part with it, such as his life and the devouring worm, his ultimate weapon. But he used an object, not the bracelet, not the star coins inside. Yang Hong began to renege. Unless he also brings out the bracelet as part of the betting. Su Yinru was speechless. She had witnessed Yang Hong's shamelessness more than once today. After sighing, Su Yinru had no choice but to turn to Ling Feng and ask, are you willing to use the bracelet as part of the betting? Ling Feng's face was so dark that he probably wouldn't be seen if the lights were off, and he took off his clothes. However, thinking of the consequences of refusing, he could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. But he wasn't one to suffer a loss. His eyes darted around. And he immediately came up with another idea. I can, but I have one condition. Speak. Su Yinru's tone had become weak and listless. A perfectly good matter had inexplicably taken a turn for the worse, and anyone would feel wronged. If I win, this guy has to become my servant, Ling Feng said hatefully, staring at Yang Hong. Becoming a servant in public, he could put a bomb collar on Yang Hong's neck. That way, even if Yang Hong was a martial arts expert, he would be under his control. This condition was rather unfair, and Yang Hong immediately became angry. He quickly retorted, if I win, you'll become my servant. I'll tell you to go east, you can't go west. I'll tell you to kneel, you can't stand. I'll tell you to bend over, and you'll have to hand me a stick. Why do you have to hand me a stick? Su Yinru asked curiously. Of course, to poke him. Can you hide him? Yang Hong grumbled angrily. What? To poke him with a stick? Su Yinru was momentarily stunned. Gu Fengren, who had just drunk the water, suffered again, spraying it out of his mouth like a showerhead. Ling Feng's face turned black again, this time a deep purple. If paper money were still used in this era, his face would definitely be able to replace ultraviolet light to verify the authenticity of banknotes. After realizing what was happening, Su Yinru blushed and spat at Yang Hong. Seeing that both of them seemed willing to accept the terms, she breathed a sigh of relief. Since you both agree, then I'll accept your bet. Ling Feng's bet was a share certificate worth over 2 million star coins, an electronic bracelet containing over 200,000 star coins, and a verbal promise of a servant. Yang Hong's bet was a piece of clothing worth 10 star coins, an electronic bracelet containing over 1,000 star coins, and the same verbal promise of a servant. Of course, Ling Feng never admitted he would lose, because when he was in the junkyard being targeted, he had already figured out Yang Hong's background. Otherwise, why would he be willing to use such valuable items as bets? As for Yang Hong, needless to say, he had been harboring thoughts of bioelectric energy from the start. Alright, since you both agree, then come with me to the Mecha arena. Gu Fengren immediately put down his water glass. He dared not drink another drop. By the way, is the Mecha duel a life or death duel? Yang Hong suddenly asked. No, that's not true. The first mech to be damaged beyond repair basically loses, Su Yinru said sweetly. Of course, if you're skilled enough to hack into the opponent's mech system, you can win immediately. If it's a life or death duel, how could you possibly have such a slave promise? As she spoke, the Wild Wolf Gang henchmen, whom Yang Hong had dealt with in the dance hall, were cleared away by the staff of bar number 12. As they left, some of the remaining members followed them to the mech fighting arena. Bar number 12 was famous precisely because of its mech fighting. Mechas were men's favorites, and mech battles could revitalize the spirit of these men. Following the dance hall, Yang Hong and his group passed through several booths and arrived at the center of bar number 12. This was the mech fighting arena, the biggest source of inspiration for everyone who entered bar number 12. Following Gu Fengren, Yang Hong and his group arrived at the mech platform. On the Mecha platform, several dilapidated, old humanoid mechas were laid out. Gu Fengren pointed at these broken mechas. Now, you will choose one from here as your mecha for the duel. However, Gu Fengren revealed a sinister smile. Anyone who caused trouble in bar 12 does not have the right to choose their own mecha. You can only choose a mecha for your opponent. In other words, the best mecha you choose will become your opponent's fighter. Chapter 7. I'm going to cut the lawn. Seeing Su Yinru's frail body unleash terrifying power, Yang Hong gasped. This was definitely a violent woman. But that wasn't the point. He looked up and asked, really can't we choose? This mech was perfect for the current situation. If he couldn't choose, he'd be out of luck. This, Su Yinru stammered. Yinru, stop fooling around, Gu Fengren spoke up. But, no buts. Gu Fengren stopped her and made a decision. The mechas are here for anyone to choose from. Since you've chosen this one, it's this one. Bingo. Yang Hong snapped his fingers excitedly. You little brat. Trying to mess with me? Yang Hong gave Su Yinru a disdainful look. You? Su Yinru was extremely unhappy, her goodwill toward Yang Hong completely gone. Similarly, there was someone else even more unhappy, Ling Feng, whose lips were practically twitching. Initially, his mood had eased slightly after hearing Su Yinru's refusal, but upon hearing Gu Fengren's immediate decision, his face turned green again, almost purple. This was a female-only mecha. How could a grown man operate it? Looking back at the boxy mecha, Ling Feng felt tears welling up inside him. Why hadn't he noticed this female mecha? Otherwise, he would have definitely given up the boxy one. Yinru, has the venue been chosen? Gu Fengren asked. Yes, it's venue number 3, Su Yinru's answer was reluctant. Actually, she wasn't angry because the female mecha had been chosen, but because of Yang Hong's lewd behavior towards the female mecha. What did this guy mean? Did he not like flatter ones? Su Yinru pouted. Okay, she did have a slight liking for Yang Hong. Although this competition had other purposes, he was the only one who could surprise her. Since you've both chosen mechas for each other, you can now pilot them to the arena. Gu Fengren waved his hand, and 2 subordinates immediately came forward. Following one of them, Yang Hong arrived at a box-shaped mech. Although this mech resembled a bulldozer, it still had an airtight cockpit. After putting on the handed pilot suit, Yang Hong jumped into the cockpit. However, before closing the hatch, he glanced at Ling Feng, who looked ashen-faced and reluctantly entered the female mech's cockpit. You little punk, trying to mess with me? I'll play you to death, Yang Hong chuckled slyly. Just as he settled into the cockpit, Yang Hong suddenly realized something was amiss. After a moment, Yang Hong reacted, what the hell? Where's the bulldozer? Looking at the rows of buttons and the 2 control levers in the center of the cockpit, his eyes widened like a bull's. This script seems off, doesn't it? Back in his previous life, Yang Hong had driven bulldozers. He knew the central lever, but what the hell were all those rows of buttons for? Yang Hong was practically crying in the cockpit. It's my turn to unleash my power, isn't it? The devouring worm reappeared in Yang Hong's palm. You damn worm, didn't you say this bulldozer was the easiest to operate? Yang Hong was on the verge of tears. The devouring worm's small, black eyes blinked a few times. This isn't easy, these buttons don't have any labels. How am I supposed to know what each button does? Yang Hong was furious. What do you need to know about those buttons for? The devouring worm asked, puzzled. Yang Hong was speechless. How was he supposed to operate it if he didn't know what the buttons did? Look. This lever represents forward and backward. The devouring worm controlled Yang Hong's right hand, first placing it on the right lever, then on the left. And this one is for turning the mecha. This kind of mecha has no complicated limbs, no complicated operating methods. It's the simplest and most suitable mecha for beginners. What about these buttons? Yang Hong angrily pointed at the rows of buttons. Never mind them. The devouring worm didn't even pay attention to the buttons. You just need to be able to make the mecha move forward, backward, left, and right. I need to go mow the lawn. Yang Hong was dizzy. Mowing the lawn? What lawn? Mowing the lawn makes you stronger, otherwise my fragile heart will shatter. Yang Hong was about to cry. With only 2 pulls, how am I supposed to gamble with someone? Oh my, the devouring bug had somehow copied Yang Hong's words, its mouth twitching as it almost burst out laughing. You really think you're a mecha expert, capable of beating that wild Wolfgang guy in mecha combat? When did I say that? Yang Hong said shamelessly, but I still need to pilot the mecha, don't I? Forward, backward, left, right, what other operations do you need? Okay, Yang Hong was also convinced. Then how are we going to fight that guy later? Although Yang Hong had chosen a female-only mecha for Ling Feng, the other party was definitely a professional mecha pilot. Given this premise, while familiarity wasn't an option, getting started shouldn't be too difficult. Once Ling Feng got the hang of the mecha, his chances of winning wouldn't be great. The devouring worm chuckled sinisterly. A feast, don't forget that feast. Yang Hong's eyes immediately lit up. That feast had been almost entirely converted into bioelectric energy by the devouring worm, and it was also the trick he had used to scheme against Ling Feng at the beginning. Meanwhile, inside the female mecha's cockpit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there were 5 rows of buttons in the cockpit, arranged in 3 layers. Damn it, looking at so many buttons, Ling Feng slammed his fist hard on the control panel, and then tears streamed down his face. This female mecha was a good mecha, an incredibly good one. But mecha pilots also had ranks, from the lowest A rank to the highest SS rank, a total of 7 ranks. Ling Feng's mecha pilot rank was only C rank, while this female-specific mecha in front of him had actually reached A rank. In other words, it was a mecha that required at least an A rank pilot to operate skillfully. A level above his own, this was a mecha that required a level above his own to operate easily. Ling Feng was almost in despair. At this moment, he truly regretted it, deeply regretted it. Why had he insisted on choosing the square box mech? Soon, the square box mech appeared at Arena 3. This was a sandy simulated battlefield, surrounded by a thick layer of sand and planted with a lot of desert vegetation, such as cacti and agave. Good, very good, this is the spot. Yang Hong kept gesturing to the side of the square box mech. Snap, the cockpit of the square box mech opened, and a person stepped out. This person was the one Gu Fengren had assigned to Yang Hong. It wasn't that Yang Hong was unwilling to drive the bulldozer into the arena, but when he first started, he almost overturned the opposite mech, making Gu Fengren break out in a cold sweat. That's why he decided to temporarily replace him. With Yang Hong's driving skills, Gu Fengren could only feel at ease once he was on the field. Otherwise, if Yang Hong were to actually drive the mech, his mech hangar would probably be bulldozed. Thinking of the mech piloted by Ling Feng, his lips twitched involuntarily, and he quickly told Su Yinru to personally drive the female mech into the arena. Ling Feng was extremely unwilling, he needed to familiarize himself with the cockpit further. But Su Yinru wouldn't give him the chance, kicking him straight out of the cockpit. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. I'm saying it 3 times because it's important. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Who Cheated? After a few dozen seconds of realizing what had happened, Yang Hong was furious. Cheating? I cheated my ass. Can't you see I'm in this state too? He suddenly gained superhuman strength, stood up abruptly, pushed open the cockpit door, and strode out. Yang Hong was dressed entirely in black, his hair standing on end, with wisps of white smoke rising from his head. Silence. Utter silence. Complete stillness. Seeing Yang Hong, especially his appearance, the previously noisy crowd fell silent. They all wanted to know what had happened. They were all waiting for an explanation. Seeing Yang Hong's appearance, Su Yinru looked shocked, her heart aching inexplicably. What just happened? How did you get like this? I'm heartbroken. Gu Fengren, however, remained silent, his face grim. Are you all stupid? Yang Hong shouted angrily. Cheating? Which of your eyes saw me cheat? Yang Hong pointed righteously at the crowd. But as he moved too roughly, a sharp pain shot through him, and he inwardly groaned, almost fainting from crying. You damned bug, you'll get what's coming to you later. However, now wasn't the time to investigate the devouring bug. His eyes lit up, and a new idea immediately came to him. Yang Hong grumbled a few times, if we're talking about cheating, didn't you see what I look like? This is clearly because that Ling Feng used some underhanded tricks, and when his attempt to show off failed, he ended up like this. If we're talking about victims, I'm the victim. Yang Hong looked wronged and pitiful. Sigh among the onlookers, there was a person who had bet the most on Ling Feng. He opened his mouth, about to say something, but seeing Yang Hong's injuries, he involuntarily closed his mouth, sighed, and resigned himself to his bad luck. This sigh seemed contagious. Soon many others shared the same thought. Poor Yang Hong. Yeah, after watching so many gambling battles, this is the first time I've seen a Mecha pilot get injured. Yeah, the Wild Wolf gang really went too far. But not everyone was convinced. A plainly dressed man, clearly a gambling addict, shouted, you can say whatever you want, but we also want to hear Ling Feng's explanation. Yes, we want to hear Ling Feng's explanation. Immediately, someone responded. That's right, tell Ling Feng to get out of the Mecha. We want to hear his explanation. When it comes to profit, no one will turn down money. Inside the female-only Mecha, Ling Feng listened to every word. He was furious, his whole body trembling uncontrollably. Unfortunately, besides the strength to tremble, even raising a hand was a problem. Damn it, who's the victim here? Ling Feng was about to cry. The tears in his heart were so heavy that if they were to fall, the entire cockpit would probably turn into a small waterhouse. Cheating? Who's cheating? Ling Feng wanted to shout, but when he opened his mouth with difficulty, only a puff of white smoke escaped, disappearing like wisps of smoke. Tears, oh tears, why couldn't you squeeze some out? Ling Feng rolled his eyes, despair settling in. On the stands, Gu Fengren, whose face had been gloomy, softened his expression. His eyes flickered, as if he were thinking about something. After a while, he coughed and beckoned. Immediately, 2 subordinates came forward. You, open the hatch of that Mecha and drag Ling Feng out. The 2 men hurriedly ran to the female-only Mecha. fumbled around the cockpit door for a moment, and then pressed a certain spot, forcibly opening the hatch. The moment the hatch opened, a puff of white smoke poured out. The two men smelled the smoke, and their expressions immediately turned strange. They took a few steps back, and only after the smoke dissipated did they approach with suspicion. Seeing the scene inside, the two exchanged bewildered glances. However, they still gritted their teeth and dragged Ling Feng out. Hiss hiss. Seeing Ling Feng's appearance, the onlookers all gasped. My goodness, how come this guy is even more injured than me? Yang Hong's lips twitched, greatly surprised. Sure enough, seeing Ling Feng's appearance, Gu Fenggren's eyes flashed with a barely perceptible light, and a cold smile appeared on his lips. Oh dear, this person is so wicked. Su Yinru quickly covered her eyes with her small hands, her cheeks flushed red. It turned out that Ling Feng's clothes had long been reduced to ashes by the powerful electric current, disappearing completely, revealing his naked body. However, his body was already charred black, and the flesh color could not be seen at all. If you got close, you could faintly smell the stench of burned flesh. What on earth happened? How could this be? Ling Feng, can you still speak? If you can, give us an explanation. Seeing Ling Feng's condition, the gambler continued to shout. He didn't pay any attention to Ling Feng's injuries, he only cared about his own money. Yes, 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 if you can speak, give us an explanation. Immediately, a group of people echoed. Ling Feng opened his mouth, another puff of white smoke came out of his mouth. Dizzy. Dizzy quickly. I'm going to pass out. Ling Feng's eyes rolled back, screaming inwardly. In this situation, the best way is to pass out. But someone was faster. The gambler had already run to the mecha, pinching his philtrum with one hand and forcefully pulling on the small mechanism in the center of his body with the other to prevent Ling Feng from passing out. Damn it, Ling Feng was about to vomit blood, but he didn't even have the strength to vomit blood. Seeing his strange expression, Yang Hong immediately turned to the crowd. See? He was definitely planning to unleash a powerful attack during the battle, but he couldn't, and ended up hurting himself instead. That's unlikely. He's more seriously injured than you. Who should we believe? Could it be that Bar 12 is cheating? Seeing Ling Feng remain silent for a long time, the gambler immediately turned his attention to Bar 12. Seeing that Bar 12 was being mentioned, Gu Fenggren flew into a rage. He sneered at the gambler. Bar 12 has been in business for so long. When has there ever been any inside story in a betting match? If you don't believe me, then come out and show us some mech experts, and see if we've tampered with these two mechas. At this point, several mech experts immediately appeared from the crowd. After a general inspection of both mechas, they all shook their heads. The gambler still didn't believe it, and personally went to inspect them. After a long while, he finally left the area dejectedly. Speaking of ultimate moves, I'm reminded of something. After coughing a few times, Gu Fenggren addressed the crowd again. Some highly skilled mech pilots can exploit a mech's inherent weaknesses or deliberately create engine malfunctions to launch a sophisticated mechanical leakage attack. This attack usually results in heavy casualties on both sides. The current situation appears to be Ling Feng attempting this attack method, but as everyone has seen, this result is definitely due to insufficient skill. Chapter 9 I Want to Count Money. After a pause, Gu Fenggren continued, regarding this technology, even I myself cannot fully comprehend it, so I cannot completely explain this entire process. Despite this, Gu Fenggren was the only mecha pilot in the junkyard with an A-level mecha pilot's license, so his words carried absolute weight. The crowd quieted down. Damn it! Ling Feng was on the verge of tears. An electric shock attack, a sophisticated technique. If such technology truly existed, he would have been a super A-level mecha pilot long ago. Why join the Wild Wolf Gang? Besides, he was the victim now, inexplicably electrocuted while sitting in a mecha. What was the reason? What exactly happened to this guy? Yang Hong naturally knew the reason for the whole incident, but what was Gu Fenggren's purpose in not only clearing his name, but also relentlessly smearing Ling Feng? However, regardless, there was one thing Yang Hong still wanted to know. Hey you, who won this match? Hey you, are you talking about me? Gu Fenggren's expression turned strange as he faced Yang Hong's gleaming eyes. Who are you talking about? Su Yinru was furious. She stepped forward and grabbed Yang Hong's ear. He's my adoptive father, not that guy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yang Hong was enraged. In front of so many people, he'd been humiliated by a little girl pulling his ear. Was this some kind of loss of face? They were flirting in public. Gu Fengren inwardly groaned. To prevent things from escalating, he quickly coughed. Su Yinru then realized what was happening. Her face flushed crimson, and she quickly retreated, head bowed, not daring to utter a sound. Yang Hong rubbed his ear, his lips twitching. This little girl, though seemingly frail, was actually a violent woman. Whoever dared to marry her would be in for a world of trouble. Seeing the two separate, Gu Fengren coughed again, drawing everyone's attention to himself. He first pointed to the two mechas in the arena. Under normal circumstances, this should be considered a win for the engineering mech. Seeing the female-specific mech crushed under the box-shaped mech, everyone sighed. And now, considering the condition of the two mech pilots, it should also be considered a win for him. Gu Fengren pointed at Yang Hong. In fact, everyone present already knew who won and who lost after that gambler's outburst, so those who bet on Ling Feng could only accept their bad luck. Those who bet on Yang Hong were grinning from ear to ear, especially the one who had already filled a bucket to the brim, who immediately plunged his head into the bucket. Of course, he wasn't trying to kill himself, but rather taking a big gulp as a celebration. This, my stuff, Yang Hong said awkwardly. You little rascal, Gu Fengren chuckled, and after a greeting, someone immediately brought over the betting money. Here you go. Gu Fengren handed Yang Hong the small black box and two electronic bracelets. That's mine, Ling Feng panicked. That share certificate was something their wild wolf king had spent a fortune and pulled many strings to get. How could he just watch it be taken away? Ling Feng tried desperately to move, but apart from rapidly exhaling white smoke, he couldn't move at all. And the more he struggled, the more white smoke he exhaled. Damn it, this was too tragic. Ling Feng's eyes welled up with tears. Yang Hong happily took them, but when he tried to transfer the star coins from Ling Feng's bracelet, he discovered it was locked with a combination lock. The combination, Yang Hong kicked Ling Feng. Already injured, Ling Feng's injuries worsened, and the kick knocked him unconscious. Before losing consciousness, two tears finally squeezed from the corner of Ling Feng's eye, but these weren't tears of happiness, but rather tears of utter misery. Why couldn't he faint when he wanted to, and now he's unconscious even though he didn't want to? Ling Feng was incredibly frustrated. His share certificates, his surefire win, had just slipped away. What was he going to do when he got back? Oh no, Yang Hong was stunned. Ling Feng was unconscious. How was he supposed to open the combination lock? Actually, you don't need to knock him out, Su Yinru chuckled, covering her mouth. Then how am I supposed to transfer the money? Yang Hong lamented, pounding his chest. He had planned to have a couple more big meals afterward to replenish his energy. Actually, we register the combination lock before you bring the bracelet up as gambling money. Yang Hong blinked. You didn't seem to ask me to register, did you? Your bracelet doesn't have a combination lock. Su Yinru blinked as well. Besides, it only has a little over 1,000 star coins inside. Even if Ling Feng wins, he'll probably just throw it away. Damn. Yang Hong was embarrassed. He hadn't expected that his little over 1,000 star coins were nothing to them. Fortunately, Su Yinru didn't mock him and quickly helped unlock the combination lock, transferring over 200,000 star coins. At this time, Gu Fengren also left to handle matters related to the bets. After all, Yang Hong, whom he least expected to win, had become the dark horse, and those who bet on him had won a large sum of money, requiring him to be present to transfer the funds. What about this? Yang Hong pointed to the small black box in his hand. This was something worth over 2 million star coins and was the focus of this bet. If you want to sell this share certificate, you should be able to exchange it for the equivalent value of star coins. Su Yinru blinked her small eyes. However, I advise you to keep it. What's the point of keeping it? Yang Hong asked, puzzled. Although he had changed time and space, he still preferred having money to spend. This small black box, although worth over 2 million star coins, couldn't be used as cash. What use was it? This share certificate is for a Mecha parts center. If you can manage it well, you'll have a stable source of income and won't have to live the lowly life of a junkyard anymore. That's great. Yang Hong nodded quickly. To put it bluntly, this is a golden goose. As long as you can provide enough food, this goose will keep laying eggs. For someone determined to make a living, this is like a secure job. Alright, now you're a rich man. What are you planning to do next? Su Yinru suddenly changed the subject. What am I going to do? Yang Hong chuckled. Of course, I'm going to have a good meal. This bet has left me starving. Of course, The most important thing is to let the devouring worm replenish its bioelectric energy. Although this energy attacks indiscriminately, it's still quite useful in crucial moments. At least today's harvest was considerable. You unambitious guy, all you know is eating, 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 Su Yinru pouted, her face darkening. This doesn't seem to concern you, Su Yinru immediately bristled. You're such a hopeless case. With that, she stomped her foot and turned away angrily. Yang Hong ignored the violent woman. He touched his bracelet, a happy look on his face. I'm a rich man today. However, he quickly sighed. What a pity, I can't even have a go. Honestly, Yang Hong really wanted to count his money right now, but it seemed he was in the wrong timeline. Sigh. Fate is cruel. Fate is cruel. 2 updates a day starting today. Please support with your votes. Update times are 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Chapter 10. Being high class means inviting someone to dinner. With money, life suddenly became much more prestigious. Yang Hong wasn't in a hurry to take over the Mecha Parts Center, whose location he didn't even know. What he wanted most right now was to indulge in a few more lavish meals. Why? Because he wasn't full. Damn it, before the battle, a meal meant for 6 people had been almost entirely devoured by the devouring worms, leaving him only about 70–80% full, to the point that he had to lick the plates clean. Now that he had money, wouldn't he go out for a few more meals? Arriving at the restaurant of Bar 12 again, Yang Hong was now a somewhat well-known figure. As soon as he entered, many people rushed forward to curry favor. 200,000 star coins wasn't much for someone who frequented Bar 12, but shares in a Mecha Parts Center were something money couldn't buy. And most importantly, Yang Hong had defeated the Wild Wolf Gang more than once. Someone even the Wild Wolf Gang couldn't handle. Why wouldn't they fawn over him? Yo, isn't this brother Yang Hong? A slightly overweight man said, his face full of obsequiousness. Get out of here. What, little brother Yang Hong? You should call him Master Hong, understand? Someone immediately slapped him away. There are different levels of flattery. You have to use a high-class approach with someone like Yang Hong. Yes, you should call him Master Hong. More than one person understood this. Master Hong, you're dining here again today. Not bad. The food at bar number 12 is quite good. Yang Hong nodded. Someone come here. The person immediately snapped their fingers, and a waiter came over. Bring Master Hong a grand meal. As luck would have it, this waiter was the same one who had served Yang Hong before. Upon seeing Yang Hong, he was initially startled, but immediately reacted. Master Hong, is it the same grand meal as before? Although he had been in the restaurant, the news from Venue 3 had practically exploded throughout bar number 12. Even the cleaning staff could describe it vividly, as if they had been there themselves. So, upon seeing Yang Hong in person, the waiter's expression immediately changed. 6 servings. Yang Hong held up one finger and shook it. No. How can 6 servings be considered a feast? If you're going to order, give me 12 servings. 12 servings? This seems like we can't finish it. The person ordering for Yang Hong's mouth formed an O. 2 people? Who said that? Yang Hong was surprised. He blinked. I'm not even enough for 1 person. 1 serving isn't enough. Give me 3 servings. The person's lips twitched, and he stood there, petrified. The waiter, on the other hand, remained calm. After all, he had seen Yang Hong's eating habits before. This was the kind of person who would lick the plate clean. A feast for 12 people, each serving cost 6,000 star coins, the waiter quickly replied. 6,000 it is. Yang Hong, who had earned more than 200,000 star coins, didn't care at all. However, the person ordering for Yang Hong reacted quickly. 6,000 per serving, 3 times 6 is 18, that's 18,000 in total. Here you go. As he spoke, he had already completed the transfer, but he transferred a total of 30,000 star coins. Also, give me a single set meal, and a bottle of Duraf. The rest is your tip, the man said nonchalantly. The waiter's eyes lit up at the mention of a tip. And he immediately scurried off to a large table, then busied himself preparing the food. A single set meal cost only 500 star coins, and Duraf was a premium drink at bar 12, worth 10,000 star coins. With 3 more sets, they'd have 1,500 star coins left. The quick-witted waiter immediately calculated his tip, his face beaming. 30,000 star coins gone just like that. Yang Hong stared at the man strangely, stroking his chin. Why was this guy being so overly attentive? However, Yang Hong never refused free meals. He'd be crazy to refuse something offered for free. Besides, although he'd suddenly gained a considerable sum, the bulk of it was the property deed. In reality, he only had a little over 200,000 star coins on him. If he spent 18,000 on every meal, he wouldn't be able to afford many. Even then, many people still came up to greet Yang Hong, trying to curry favor. Yang Hong kept greeting them, but the person opposite him just sat there smiling without saying anything more, so Yang Hong didn't bother with them anymore. Soon, as the food was served, fewer and fewer people came to Yang Hong. Yang Hong stopped caring about anything else and started eating heartily. At this moment, the devouring worm, which had been hiding, was also attracted by the food. "You dead worm, you've finally come out." "Of course, if I didn't come out, could you finish all this food?" "Yes, that's right." Yang Hong nodded, but immediately sensed something was wrong and burst out, "Damn it! You dead worm, you still haven't explained yourself to me." "Explain? What explanation?" The devouring worm pretended to be stupid. "Are you looking for death?" Yang Hong was furious. "Oh, you mean the electric discharge thing?" Yang Hong hummed and didn't say anything more, but his eating speed didn't slow down at all. Under normal circumstances, the bioelectricity released by the insect lord has no effect on you, the devouring insect explained while converting its food. However, you should also be aware of your physique. With your current garbage body, to resist electricity, you would need to cultivate to at least 10 times the intensity you have now. 10 times the intensity. Yang Hong's lips twitched. Even if he went to the gym and hired a highly skilled personal trainer, how could he possibly reach that level in less than 10 or 8 years? Wait a minute, wasn't his physique already strengthened after this insect possessed him? Why would it need to be strengthened further? My parasitism can only strengthen your body, not your resistance to electricity. The devouring insect instantly understood Yang Hong's meaning. Reading my memories again, Yang Hong was displeased. By the way, if you really want to improve your resistance to electricity, there is another way. What way? Yang Hong's eyes gleamed. If you can withstand 1 or 200 of my full power discharges, you should be fine. Holy crap. Yang Hong rolled his eyes. What kind of method is this? Putting aside his own dark and grimy appearance, just Ling Feng's wretched look made Yang Hong's heart pound. Let alone once, even half a time, Yang Hong would be 100,000 times unwilling, let alone 100 or 200 times. Damn it, this is blatant murder. Yang Hong couldn't help but curse again. Forget it, this matter can only be put aside for now, otherwise, Yang Hong truly couldn't accept a situation where he would hurt the enemy 1,000 while losing 800 of his own. Mr. Hong, have you finished eating? Just then, the person who had invited him to dinner finally spoke. Oh, I'm finished. And you are? Yang Hong picked his teeth with a toothpick. My name is Zhang Jianrun, Mr. Zhang, thank you so much for the free meal. No, it's a treat. Yang Hong was never stingy with words once someone invited him to dinner, but sometimes, if he misspoke, he still needed to correct himself. Chapter 11 I won't take your money for nothing. It's nothing. Zhang Jianren waved his hand, elegantly picked up a napkin, licked his lips, and then said, "Heroes emerge from among the young? That's true. I didn't expect that at such a young age." Master Hong could not only easily defeat the Wild Wolf Gang, but also possess extraordinary talent in mecha combat. Holy crap. Extraordinary talent? Is this guy just asking for trouble? Yang Hong was annoyed. No matter how he looked at that bet, he clearly just got incredibly lucky, yet he was being called extraordinary talent. Wait a minute, Yang Hong suddenly had a jolt. This guy invited him to dinner for no reason, then gave him a carrot, and now he's probably going to throw a stick next? I wonder if Master Hong has any plans to transfer the share certificates he won in the mecha bet, Zhang Jianren asked, staring at Yang Hong. What's going on? Where's the stick? Why did he get to the point so quickly? The script is messed up. Yang Hong felt really frustrated. Seeing that Yang Hong didn't reply, a shadow of gloom flickered in Zhang Jianren's eyes, easily missed by most people. However, Yang Hong was parasitized by a devouring worm. Even a glance or a gesture from the other person could be detected by the devouring worm, which seemed to have eyes and ears that could see 1,000 miles and hear everything. Yang Hong, this guy seems to have some ulterior motives, the devouring worm warned. You don't need to tell me, Yang Hong scoffed. Should we teach him a lesson, Worm Master? The devouring worm immediately let out a sly laugh. Not so fast, Being invited to dinner for a funeral out of the blue, even someone without a brain could tell the person had ill intentions. Besides true friends, who wasn't involved in this kind of situation with various interests at stake? Yes, this was the correct script. Yang Hong remained silent, and Zhang Jianren grew anxious. Master Hong, what did you call me? Yang Hong suddenly looked up with a grin. Master Hong, Zhang Jianren said, his eyes filled with confusion, repeating himself. I can't hear you clearly, please say it 3 more times. Yang Hong rubbed his ears. Remember, say it louder, I'm a little hard of hearing. What was going on? Zhang Jianren was dumbfounded. However, for the sake of the share certificate, he gritted his teeth and shouted 3 times, Master Hong! Master Hong! Master Hong! Hey, you're such a good grandson, I have to give you a red envelope. As he spoke, Yang Hong reached into his pocket, but quickly stretched out his hands, spreading them out with an embarrassed expression. Oh dear, I really forgot. It seems that the red envelopes here are all sent directly via electronic bracelets. However, I don't really like sending red envelopes via electronic bracelets, so I won't send one. You're so rich, you shouldn't be short of a few bucks, right? Yang Hong said matter-of-factly. What do you mean? Zhang Jianren immediately realized that he had been tricked by Yang Hong. He stood up abruptly, his face grim. You wouldn't happen to have some connection with the Wild Wolf Gang, would you? Yang Hong laughed. HMPH, Zhang Jianren sneered. Let's not beat around the bush. I'm willing to exchange your share certificate for its equivalent value. Equivalent value, Yang Hong stroked his chin. In the junkyard, getting a property certificate isn't something you can do even with the money. Yang Hong had already understood the importance of this property certificate from his memory when he received it. Did they think they could just dismiss him with a few words? I'll offer double. Zhang Jianren's expression turned unfriendly, and he gritted his teeth, spitting out each word. Double, Yang Hong laughed, a sinister smile. You need to understand, this is a Mecha parts center. If I manage it well, even double the value is easy to earn back. Are you trying to fob me off? You're a beggar in the junkyard, why would I need to fob you off? Zhang Jianren's lips twitched with anger. But he quickly calmed down. The lingering heat from Ling Feng's previous actions with the Wild Wolf Gang hadn't cooled down yet, he wouldn't be easily fooled. Besides, Zhang Jianren wasn't a Mecha pilot, so he naturally wouldn't overstep the rules of Bar 12. How much do you want? Zhang Jianren was furious, his face grim. Before Yang Hong could finish, Zhang Jianren narrowed his eyes and said sharply, remember your place, don't ask for an exorbitant amount, damn it. Yang Hong was annoyed. He hadn't even opened his mouth, how did he know he was going to ask for an exorbitant amount? Did he really lack the talent of a shrewd businessman? He even considered buying a block of tofu and banging his head against it. But honestly, speaking of status, was he really someone without any status right now? Yang Hong was deeply troubled. You really want the share certificates? Suddenly, Yang Hong asked with a grin. That's right, then let me calculate. Yang Hong stretched out his hands and started counting on his fingers. 1 8 is 8, 2 8s are 14, 3 8s are 56. What? Zhang Jianren's pupils contracted. What did he mean by 1 8 is 8, 2 8s are 14, 3 8s are 56? Did he even know how to do math? And who taught him this math? Zhang Jianren was speechless. By the way, this share certificate is worth over 2 million. If I manage it well, I can probably earn 1 million a month. That's 12 million a year, 24 million in 2 years, and about 120 million in 10 years. I'm not greedy, let's just collect 10 years worth of profits first, Yang Hong said seriously. Okay, Zhang Jianren snorted coldly, finally getting it right this time. Wait, something's not right. Just as he was about to agree, Zhang Jianren suddenly realized something, and he immediately became furious, unable to help but swear. How the hell did you calculate that? 1 million a month, of course, it's based on the standards of bar number 12, Yang Hong blinked. Zhang Jianren felt like he was about to vomit blood. Based on the standards of bar number 12? Did he really think he was something special? Who was he trying to fool? The prices at bar number 12 were the highest in the entire garbage dump. This was because bar number 12 was an underground gambling den. In such a place, money came quickly, and naturally, it was spent quickly as well. But the Mecha Parts Center is a legitimate place that makes money through honest and fair means. How could it be calculated based on the standards of number 12? Besides, even in a medium-sized or large city, A Mecha parts center would need to invest at least several million to earn $1 million a month. Moreover, they're going to take a 10-year cut. Who do they think they are? They might have to close down for rectification in less than a year if they mismanage it. After a while, Zhang Jinren finally caught his breath. Kid, don't think you can be so arrogant just because I treated you to a meal. 3 times the value. That's the highest price I can offer. A ruthless glint flashed in Zhang Jinren's eyes. I'm only being polite to you because you treated me to a free meal, Yang Hong said. Otherwise, I would have taken a profit of 1 or 200 years. By the way, I won't eat your food for free either. Yang Hong snapped his fingers, and a waiter immediately came over. Give me the plate. The waiter immediately brought a new plate. Yang Hong held the plate in one hand and reached into his throat with the other. Ugh! In the blink of an eye, the plate was piled high with stuff. Yang Hong held the plate out to Zhang Jinren. Here, take it back, you, ugh. Smelling the sour, foul odor emanating from the plate, Zhang Jinren couldn't hold back any longer. He vomited violently, clutching his stomach and squatting on the ground. You little rascal, trying to fool me? You'd better go find that someone else. Yang Hong smiled smugly, but his smile didn't last long before he too bent over. Even he couldn't stand the stench. Chapter 12 10-Year Profits. After a long while, Zhang Jinren finally stood up, his face turning extremely pale, as if his father had died. Kid, I'll say it again, 3 times the value. If you don't agree, you'll definitely regret it. Regret? What do I need to regret? Yang Hong also stood up, raising his head and giving him a pointed chin. This guy, from Master Hong to Kid, it took less than 3 minutes. He wants Yang Hong to agree? HMPH. Zhang Jinren immediately reached into his pocket and pulled out a black metal box, slamming it onto the table with a loud bang. What's this? Is it a bomb? Yang Hong cried out in fear. What the hell? A bomb? Oh no, someone's going to plant a bomb. Run. Yang Hong's voice was loud. The shout of bomb immediately threw the entire restaurant into chaos. Some scrambled under tables, others ran and crawled, all in a state of panic. Even the nearby waiters raised their plates to shield their heads, crouching on the ground. I'll blow your bomb up. Seeing the restaurant in chaos, Zhang Jinren was almost in tears. Damn it, it was just a negotiation, and of course things went wrong. Why did he have to shout bomb? ? Soon, Gu Fengren, the manager of bar number 12, and Su Yinru reappeared. Under their control, the restaurant returned to normal. What's going on? Gu Fengren's expression was clearly unfriendly. We're negotiating. Seeing Gu Fengren, Zhang Jinren's lips twitched. Just what he feared most had happened. Thankfully, he hadn't overstepped the rules of bar number 12. Did someone say they were going to plant a bomb? The little girl, Su Yinru, frowned, giving Zhang Jinren a strange look. Then her gaze fell on Yang Hong. I thought this guy was going to plant a bomb. Yang Hong rubbed his nose, looking embarrassed. However, it was understandable that he thought that way. After all, Zhang Jinren first said he would regret it, then suddenly pulled an unknown object from his pocket and slammed it on the table. Anyone would think it was a bomb. These are share certificates. Share certificates. Zhang Jinren hurriedly held out the black metal box to everyone. This looks familiar. Yang Hong's eyes widened, and he pulled out his own share certificate as well. Exactly the same. You should have said so earlier. You scared my heart out. Yang Hong clutched his chest. Are you blind? Heart out? I'm the one with a weak heart. You scared me half to death. Zhang Jinren was on the verge of tears. Negotiation? What are you talking about? Seeing the 2 almost identical share certificates, Su Yinru asked. Gu Fengren also frowned, his gaze fierce as he stared at Zhang Jinren. He wants me to transfer my share certificate, Yang Hong answered honestly. Oh, Su Yinru's face hardened. You agreed. I wanted to agree, but he's a penniless wretch. He can't afford it. Yang Hong was very honest. Hearing that Yang Hong wanted to agree, Su Yinru snorted coldly, her face instantly turning displeased, and Gu Fengren's brows furrowed tightly. A penniless wretch? Zhang Jinren almost jumped up. Who the hell is this poor bastard? Have you ever seen a poor bastard willing to spend 30,000 star coins just to treat someone to a meal? And even give a tip of over 1,000? He was so angry he was practically fuming. You're talking nonsense, Zhang Jinren retorted. What nonsense? Yang Hong snorted in dissatisfaction. I only plan to collect 10 years' worth of profits. And you say you can't afford the price, and that you'll only pay 3 times the value. What else is that but being a poor bastard? What? Su Yinru looked surprised. 10 years worth of profits? Are you robbing me? Gu Fengren's lips twitched. 10 years worth of profits? This kid really dared to ask for that much? If the business wasn't managed well, it would go bankrupt in a year or two, leaving no profit whatsoever, and even losing money. Moreover, according to their calculations, even if this Mecha Parts Center completed all the business of their number 12 bar, the maximum monthly profit would be 100,000 to 200,000, and about $1 million a year. However, if Zhang Jianren were truly willing to pay 3 times the value, it would still be around 7 million, equivalent to 7 years worth of profit. Following normal acquisition procedures, this price would already be considered excessive. Why is this kid so greedy? Could it be that he also knows how useful this Mecha Parts Center is to Bar 12? Gu Fengren took the water cup from his subordinate, drinking while squinting at Yang Hong. Exactly. Earning 1 million a month, 12 million a year, 10 million in 10 years. Isn't this robbery? Zhang Jianren said angrily. 1 million a month? 12 million a year? 120 million in 10 years. PFFT, Gu Fengren spat out his water. He regretted it. He definitely shouldn't drink water when he saw Yang Hong. Su Yinru's eyes widened, her logic and integrity shattered. Was this a Mecha Parts Center or a Mecha Parts factory? No wonder Zhang Jianren refused. This was definitely converting a year's profit into months. What kind of place is this? A junkyard. Even in this junkyard, only bar number 12 can earn around $1 million a month. In bad times, they might only make a few 100,000. And bar number 12 isn't just a junkyard business, they're an underground gambling den serving nearby medium to large cities. Otherwise, how could they possibly earn that much from just a junkyard? Yang Hong, how do you plan to make the Mecha Parts Center $1 million a month? Su Yinru's eyes lit up after she realized what was going on. She was a business prodigy in this area, naturally interested in someone with a similar business acumen. Gu Fengren perked up his ears, as did Zhang Jianren. That's a trade secret. Secrets aren't worth much if they were revealed, Yang Hong said arrogantly, tilting his head back. Wow, this kid is definitely bragging. Gu Fengren saw through Yang Hong's ulterior motives immediately. If he could really do it, he wouldn't mind Su Yinru following him. However, Su Yinru seemed to believe him, her eyes were sparkling. Because Yang Hong was the only person besides her adoptive father, Gu Fengren, whom she had any affection for, and he was even male. Zhang Jianren's lips twitched, and after a long while, he finally spoke again, his lips still twitching. Yang Hong, you really don't plan to transfer the share certificate? Transfer what? $1 million in profit a month. If you don't come up with 120 million, don't even think about taking the share certificate. Su Yinru immediately chimed in. HMPH, Zhang Jianren snorted coldly, and he raised the share certificate in his hand again. I'm not afraid to tell you openly that I also have a share in that Mecha Parts Center. If you refuse to transfer it, I will withdraw my shares starting tomorrow. Once I withdraw my shares, you will definitely not be able to operate. If you know what's good for you, transfer the share certificate to me. There was such a thing? Yang Hong was surprised. Gu Fengren didn't speak, as if he already knew the answer. Chapter 13. Tear it up if you want. It can't be true, can it? Yang Hong blinked, turning to look at Gu Fengren. HMPH. Zhang Jianren remained silent, his face cold. Damn. It doesn't seem fake. Seeing Gu Fengren's gloomy face, Yang Hong cursed inwardly. However, Yang Hong wasn't afraid of such tricks. At most, he'd just tear the Mecha Parts Center apart, leaving nothing behind. Anyway, Yang Hong hadn't put much effort into this. At most, he'd just consider it winning less money in the Mecha battles. Yang Hong thought for a moment and asked, so, what percentage of the shares do you own? Half, the same as yours, Zhang Jianren said grimly. Damn. If it really made money, wouldn't it be split 50-50? Yang Hong wasn't having it. If you force me to withdraw my investment, how much compensation do I need to pay? Compensation, Zhang Jianren scoffed. It's not something you can just decide to pay. This Mecha Parts Center was jointly secured by our Zhang's repair workshop and the Wild Wolf Gang. The Wild Wolf Gang provided the capital, holding half the shares, while our Zhang's repair workshop contributed manpower, also holding half the shares. If we withdraw our investment, wait, Yang Hong stopped Zhang Jianren before he could threaten him. You say you only contributed manpower and already hold half the shares? What kind of manpower did you contribute? Damn it, just contributing manpower and already holding half the shares. How could he tolerate this? This concerned half of his revenue. Unless all the manpower Zhang Jianren contributed were superhumans, Yang Hong would absolutely not accept it. In this entire junkyard, there's only one Zhang's repair shop, the only one, Zhang Jianren said with a sneer. If we withdraw our investment, we will definitely take this repair shop with us. The consequences are something you can't face. Damn it, Yang Hong was stunned. So the so-called manpower wasn't superhuman, they were just repairmen. Wait, if this guy withdraws his investment, he won't demand 120 million, will he? Yang Hong was shocked. His lips twitched, and he wanted to slap himself. Damn it, why did he reveal his hand? Yang Hong was extremely frustrated. Yang Hong glanced sideways at Zhang Jianren. He only provided some repairmen, yet he dared to take half the shares. This guy was too ruthless. He cautiously asked, if you forcibly withdraw your investment, will you just take the repair shop away, and all the repairmen too? Of course, Zhang Jianren said matter-of-factly. Then if you forcibly withdraw your investment, will I not have to give you any compensation? Yang Hong asked again. Zhang Jianren nodded vigorously. Phew, Yang Hong immediately let out a sigh of relief, patted his still slightly pounding heart, and then turned to ask Gu Fengren, did you hear that? Did you hear that? He then turned to ask Su Yinru. Hear what? Su Yinru looked bewildered. He said that if I forcibly withdraw my shares, he'll only take away the repair shop and the repairmen, and he absolutely won't take a single penny from me. Yes, I heard that, Su Yinru nodded. Gu Fengren also nodded with a smile. Okay, Yang Hong snatched the black box from Zhang Jianren's hand. You can leave now. What are you doing? This is my equity. Give it back to me. Zhang Jianren's eyes widened, and he was furious. Give it back what? Yang Hong pushed him away. That's settled then. Tomorrow, take your shop and your people with you. I don't care. What? Zhang Jianren was instantly stunned. Yang Hong was overjoyed. He thought the other party would withdraw their investment and then demand 120 million or something, but he didn't expect it to be so simple. Trying to take half the shares just by contributing a few people? No way. Yang Hong raised his head and snorted a few times. Taking half the shares meant he'd have to give away half the profits. This was intolerable. Get lost. Yang Hong huffed and raised his arrogant head. You, Zhang Jianren's face turned black. What do you mean? You treated me to a free meal, and I returned it to you in full. What more do you want? Zhang Jianren's face turned from black to green. What do you mean? Get lost. Yang Hong pushed him, sending him flying like a bowling ball, hitting him squarely at the door. PFFT Su Yinru couldn't help but cover her mouth. Thank goodness she hadn't drunk any water, or she would have choked. Gu Fengren looked frightened. Yang Hong, if the Mecha Parts Center doesn't have a repair workshop, it'll be very difficult to upgrade to a Super Mecha Parts Center. After thinking for a moment, Gu Fengren suddenly advised. Super Mecha Parts Center? What the heck? Yang Hong blinked. Su Yinru immediately explained to him. It turns out that Mecha Parts Centers are graded, from small to large, and then to Super Mecha Parts Centers. The types of Mecha parts that can be sold vary depending on the grade. A large Mecha Parts Center needs its own repair workshop to upgrade to Super, otherwise, it will remain at the large level. Large is large, what's the difference? Yang Hong asked, puzzled. If you're still at the large level, your Mecha Parts Center can only sell Mecha parts, it can't repair or modify them. That's it. Yes, that's it. What's the big deal? Yang Hong was dismissive. He thought it would cause some major problem, but it turned out to be such a small matter. Yang Hong, if your Mecha Parts Center doesn't have a repair workshop, you won't be able to get repair work from our number 12 bar. Su Yinru was a little worried. What if we can't get it? Yang Hong asked cautiously. It will reduce the income of the Mecha Parts Center, Su Yinru said. That's it. Yes, Su Yinru nodded. Then let's fight it out. Do you think I'm short of that little bit of money? Yang Hong said indifferently. Huh? Su Yinru blinked her small eyes, a little incredulous. This is money. Of course, she would earn as much as possible. Does anyone dislike money? Su Yinru clearly forgot that if she earned more money, at least half of it would have to go to Zhang Jianren, which Yang Hong couldn't agree to. Besides, the two didn't get along, and sharing it would only make her feel bad. It was better to earn less. She would be happier if Zhang Jianren didn't get it. Gu Fengren, on the other hand, was more open-minded and had also considered Yang Hong's thoughts, so he said, "Yinru, these are all adults' matters, you shouldn't get involved." "Adults' matters?" Su Yinru instantly exploded, grabbing Gu Fengren's ear and yelling, "What do you mean? Are you saying I'm a child? I'm just a little flat-chested, do you think I'm a child too?" Gu Fengren was dumbfounded. What was going on here? Yang Hong blinked, not daring to speak. However, this girl really was a little flat-chested, and quite violent at that. He couldn't stand it. "Thank you Fu Along for the reward, please vote." Chapter 14 Boss, can you move a little? The junkyard is a highly localized place. The poorest can only build makeshift shelters, while the wealthier can only rent apartments built by Zingfu. Places like bar number 12 are practically impossible to exist without a complex background. The Wild Wolf Gang seems to have a complex background as well. Having just arrived at the junkyard, they not only secured land for the Metro Parts Center but also obtained a plot of land for their headquarters. However, since they haven't been there long, most of their buildings are temporary. At this moment, in a temporary room at the Wild Wolf Gang headquarters, Ling Feng, covered in injuries, lies on a hospital bed, unable to move. Even breathing is a major challenge. Besides him, a group of Wild Wolf Gang members stand in the room, all slumped over after being punished by Yang Hong, unable to straighten up. Hong Bao, whose back is almost broken, stands with Zhang Jianren in front of a large screen. On the large screen was a burly man with broad shoulders and bulging muscles. A scar on his face made his features look extremely ferocious. This man was none other than Wild Wolf, the leader of the Wild Wolf Gang. "Speak, what exactly happened?" Wild Wolf demanded sharply, his face stern. Zhang Jianren, being an outsider, couldn't speak up, and among his underlings, only Hong Bao had some status. So, Hong Bao stepped forward tremblingly and gave a brief account of what had happened since he started following Yang Hong. Of course, he omitted the part about being tricked by Yang Hong and rolling on the ground as he left bar number 12. If you were to say such a thing, even through a screen, Wild Wolf would definitely deal with him immediately. "Just who is this Yang Hong?" Wild Wolf asked, his expression unchanged. "Boss, this Yang Hong is just a low-level character from the junkyard." Hong Bao immediately recounted how Ling Feng had used Yang Hong as a scapegoat to teach him a lesson. "He's really just a small fry?" Wild Wolf thought for a moment and asked. "Really, I practically watched him grow up." Hong Bao swore to the heavens. "A lowly nobody, after coming back from the dead, can easily take on all of you. Could this kid have gotten an enhancement agent?" Wild Wolf frowned. "Enhancement agent?" Red Bao asked suspiciously. "Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, and don't inquire about what you shouldn't know." Wild Wolf snorted coldly. "Yes." Red Bao immediately shut his mouth and covered it tightly with both hands. "Can Ling Feng still move?" Wild Wolf asked again. Red Bao immediately walked to Ling Feng's side and patted him hard on the shoulder. "Boss, the gang leader is calling you, damn it." Ling Feng was about to cry. "Can't I move? Can't you see I'm already seriously injured? And you still patted me so hard? Boss, can you move a little?" Seeing that Ling Feng didn't move at all, Red Bao patted him a few more times. Huff 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 huff. Ling Feng was anxious. His slightly parted lips kept breathing, and his eyes shot out furious glares. If those glares could turn into bullets, Red Bao would definitely be riddled with holes. Seeing Ling Feng breathing heavily, Hong Bao's eyes lit up with joy, and he clapped even harder. "Boss, the leader is calling you, damn it." Ling Feng regretted it, squeezing out two tears with difficulty. If he had known this would happen, he would have remained motionless. Seeing Ling Feng stop moving after shedding two tears, Hong Bao cried out in alarm. "Boss, are you about to die? You're the one about to die." Ling Feng was furious, wishing he could slap this red-nosed idiot to death. "What happened?" Wild Wolf on the other side of the screen frowned. "Leader, the boss seems to be dying. He's having a final burst of lucidity." Shedding his last tears, Hong Bao almost cried. A final burst of lucidity? Last tears? Hearing this, Ling Feng felt so wrong he almost vomited blood. "Hong Bao, when I recover, I'll tear you apart immediately." Ling Feng roared inwardly. Unfortunately, he was now unable to move, and even speaking was a problem. He could only lie there, frantic. "Forget it, ignore him," Wild Wolf said, skipping the topic. "What? Abandoning me?" Ling Feng was stunned. He had fought so hard for the Wild Wolf Gang, suffering serious injuries in the junkyard, and now, with Hong Bao saying he was about to die, Wild Wolf had simply abandoned him. "What's your name?" Wild Wolf asked, pointing at Hongbao. "Boss, my name is Hongbao, and I'm a native of the junkyard," Hongbao replied respectfully. "I don't have time to deal with things at the junkyard right now. I'm temporarily appointing you as the head of the junkyard branch," Wild Wolf said. Hongbao was overjoyed and nodded repeatedly. Really abandoned? Ling Fen was heartbroken. This time, he truly wouldn't move again, and he had no intention of listening to Wild Wolf and Hongbao's conversation. That kid's probably taken some kind of enhancement drug. "You guys stay at the headquarters in the junkyard for now. I'll send someone to direct your operations later." Sending someone to direct their actions? Hongbao immediately forced a smile. "Boss, in my opinion, we can handle that kid. You doubt me?" Wild Wolf's face instantly darkened. No, Hongbao's heart nearly jumped out of his chest, waving his hands frantically. "The share certificates for the mech parts center are all in that kid's hands?" Wild Wolf asked again. Yes, our Wild Wolf Gang's share is indeed in that kid's hands." "What do you mean? Did Zhang's repair shop's share also go wrong?" Wild Wolf's face darkened again. Hongbao didn't dare answer, quickly pulling Zhang Jianren over. "This is Zhang Jianren, the person in charge of Zhang's repair shop. Let him tell you about his share certificate." Holy crap! Zhang Jianren's lips twitched incessantly. He inwardly wished he had an axe to chop Hongbao in two. Damn it, knowing Wild Wolf was furious, he'd been pushed forward at this crucial moment. Now, standing before the screen, he had no choice but to recount his affair with Yang Hong. "You idiot," Wild Wolf roared. "He told you to leave, and you left, but he's already taken back all the share certificates." Faced with Wild Wolf's rage, Zhang Jianren could only force a smile, not daring to utter a single word. "I don't care what method you use, even if he kicks you out, you can't leave the Mecha Parts Center. It took a huge price to get that," Wild Wolf roared. "No matter what it takes, you must delay him until my people arrive. Then things will be much easier." The junkyard, Yang Hong's temporary residence. Ring, what's going on? Yang Hong rubbed his still sleepy eyes, feeling incredibly tired. Ring, damn it, what the hell is disturbing my sleep? Yang Hong was furious. He jumped out of bed. Wow! This sun is insane. Yang Hong shielded his eyes from the blazing sunlight. "What time is it?" Yang Hong slammed the alarm clock on, then checked the time. "Oh, only 10 o'clock. Seriously, is it really necessary to be so early?" Just as he was about to go back to bed, he suddenly remembered something. He jumped up, dressed, brushed his teeth, and washed his face. He'd almost forgotten. Today was the day to take over that damn Mecha Parts Center. If he was late, it would be considered a missed opportunity. Damn it! Yang Hong frantically finished his tasks and rushed out the door. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15: I'll Ruin Your Father's Property. Damn it! Just as Yang Hong stepped out the door, countless black lines appeared on his face. He seemed to have no idea where this Mecha Parts Center was. Right, soon, Yang Hong knew the solution. He took out the 2 share certificates he carried and connected them to his electronic bracelet. In an instant, the information about the black metal box appeared clearly on the bracelet. So this is it? Yang Hong chuckled. Just as he was about to take a step, his smile suddenly froze. He knew the location, but he was a transmigrator. How would he know where to go? Besides, the original owner of this body was a complete shut-in, so how would he know the place? Yang Hong was about to go crazy. Fortunately, at this moment, a few people appeared in the junkyard and greeted him. What happened at bar number 12 yesterday not only exploded in the bar overnight, but also spread throughout the entire junkyard. Yang Hong was now a minor celebrity, and many people were starting to fawn over him. More importantly, because of yesterday's incident, the Wild Wolf Gang quietly disappeared from the junkyard and hadn't been seen since. "Good morning, Yang Hong." "What do you mean, Yang Hong? You should call me Master Hong." Immediately, a more observant person stepped forward to correct him. Right, Master Hong. "Good morning, Master Hong." "Good morning, Master Hong." "Good morning what? What time is it?" Yang Hong was furious. "It's 10 o'clock. Lunch is almost time." "What's so early about that, huh?" The others were dumbfounded. Come here, Yang Hong beckoned to the more observant person, who immediately stepped forward. Do you know this place? Yes, the person nodded. Good, take me there right away, Yang Hong said. This person was a low-level worker in the junkyard, and at this time, he needed to find food, otherwise his family would go hungry. Get there within 10 minutes, and I'll give you a 10,000 star coins tip. Yang Hong's tone left no room for argument. No problem, 2 minutes is fine too. The person's eyes immediately gleamed. The others immediately groaned. Holy crap, he already earned 10,000 star coins. Why didn't he point at me? I was right next to him. I should have run up first. Sigh, why am I so stupid? Why didn't I call him Master Hong first? Someone even slapped himself. This guy was shrewd. He waved towards a certain spot, and immediately a land-based flying car with a taxi sign roared out and stopped in front of them. He opened the back door first and respectfully said, Master Hong, please get in. Yang Hong nodded and got into the back seat. The guy quickly ran to the front passenger seat and told the driver the address. Sure enough, they arrived at their destination in less than 2 minutes. Master Hong, please get out. This guy was also very quick-witted, not only paying the fare in advance but also opening the door for him. Yang Hong was very satisfied, immediately transferring 10,000 star coins and asking his name. My name is Liang Wei Hong, you're also called Ah Hong. Yang Hong was surprised. No, it's Hong for grand ideals, huh? Yang Hong blinked, carefully examining the person before him. Although he was a bit thin, his hair a bit messy, and his clothes a bit dirty, Yang Hong liked the name Grand Ideals. Okay, you'll follow me for now. From now on, I'll call you Hongzi. Yang Hong nodded in satisfaction. Liang Wei Hong's eyes lit up, and he immediately followed Yang Hong into the Mecha Parts Center. He was given 10,000 star coins just for showing him the way. Who else would he follow if not someone like that? If he paid him a few more times, he wouldn't have to work in the junkyard anymore. At this moment, the Mecha Parts Center was completely silent. Not only were there no people, but not even a cat or dog could be seen. Instead, the messy goods scattered around made it look like a garbage dump, disgusting to look at. Seeing this, Yang Hong was instantly furious. Damn it, this is the Mecha Parts Center I'm going to take over? How can this garbage dump generate $1 million a month? $1 million. $1 million. Yang Hong's eyes blazed with fury. Before he could speak, Hongzi had already shouted, Is anyone here? Is anyone even here? Luckily, his voice was loud enough that after just 2 shouts, a few people hurriedly came out. However, these people looked hostile and yelled at Yang Hong and his group, Are you blind? Can't you see this place is about to go bankrupt? Get out. I'll give you 3 seconds. If you don't leave, you'll face the consequences. Bankrupt. Yang Hong's eyes widened. Who are you? Why are you here? HMPH. One of the people at the front immediately sneered. Who are you? And why are you here? Hongzi was about to speak when Yang Hong pulled him aside. Come here, Yang Hong beckoned. What? Are you planning to become a regular here? The leader looked puzzled but still came forward. Let me tell you first, if you like the environment here, please come back tomorrow. Today is not an option. After a pause, as if remembering something, the man added, If you come back tomorrow, with my face, I can give you a 20% discount membership card. A 20% discount membership card. Yang Hong was surprised. Your face is really worth a 20% discount? What do you mean? The man's face darkened. Didn't you say this Mecha Parts Center was going bankrupt? It's almost bankrupt today, but tomorrow will be different. The man arrogantly raised his head, revealing his pointed chin. Don't you know who I am? I'm the deputy manager here. Giving you a 20% discount is just a matter of asking. Oh? Then why not today? Yang Hong laughed. There's a lot going on today, didn't you see? The man pointed to the messy surroundings. This was personally instructed by the big boss. Today's task is to make this place a mess, to make it look like it's bankrupt, otherwise we'll lose our jobs? Hongzi was stunned. He looked at the man, then turned to look at Yang Hong. Who's your big boss? Yang Hong still smiled. Our big bosses, of course, the big boss of Zhang's repair center. Haven't you heard of him? The man retorted arrogantly. But I heard your big boss Zhang has already transferred all his shares in the Mecha Parts Center. Yang Hong still smiled. How is that possible? The man's face changed drastically. Who exactly are you people? As he spoke, he waved his hand, gathering the others to surround Yang Hong and Yang Hong. Me. Yang Hong was furious. He clenched his fists, making a cracking sound. I'm your mother's big boss's even bigger boss. Bang 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 bang. The men surrounding Yang Hong were instantly sent flying. Bankruptcy? I'll bankrupt your grandpa's business. Yang Hong grabbed the man and punched him until his nose was bright red. Why am I the only one getting hit so hard? The man covered his nose with both hands, tears welling up in his eyes. What happened? What on earth happened? The clattering noise quickly attracted the rest of the people from the Metro Parts Center. These people, who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, rushed over in shock when they saw the people lying on the ground after being beaten by Yang Hong. Who are you? Why are you beating people up here? Security. Where's the security? They are the security guards. What? The ones lying on the ground are the security guards. Thank you to Boundless Sticks for voting and supporting me. I'm so touched. Please continue to vote. Chapter 16. Who are you again? Who are you people? A well-mannered young man stepped forward from the crowd. He frowned, glanced at the people on the ground, and then fixed his gaze on Yang Hong. Before Yang Hong could speak, another scream, like a pig being slaughtered, erupted from the crowd. Immediately, a voluptuous woman rushed out from the crowd and ran to the man who had been beaten the worst. Brother, what happened to you? The man who had been beaten the worst was about to speak, but the voluptuous woman saw that his swollen nose was blocking his face and quickly reached out to remove it. Ouch! The man who had been beaten the worst screamed repeatedly. Don't touch my nose. Can't you see it's swollen? Does it hurt a lot? The voluptuous woman asked with concern. The man who had been beaten the worst was almost crying inside. Of course it hurt. If it didn't hurt, why would his nose be swollen? Seeing her brother unable to speak due to the pain, the alluring woman immediately stood up and called out to the seemingly refined young man, Manager Lin, but before she could finish, a thud came from behind her. Turning around, she saw the most severely beaten man's eyes rolled back, foaming at the mouth, and lifeless. The alluring woman immediately burst into tears again, wailing, Brother, why did you faint? What? Who the hell beat my brother so badly he passed out? PFFT. Hearing her words, the onlookers couldn't bear it. You clearly let go. Okay, exactly. If you hadn't let go, would your brother have hit his head on the ground and passed out? However, these people only thought it to themselves and didn't dare say it aloud, because the alluring woman held a certain position in the Metro Parts Center. Supervisor Lin's lips twitched. He couldn't stand it any longer. Helplessly, he waved his hand. Someone, take them back to the conference room. No need. At this moment, Yang Hong stepped forward, waving his hand dismissively. Just throw them outside. What? Supervisor Lin stumbled, clearly bewildered. Silence, an eerie silence. An eerie silence descended upon the Metro Parts Center. After this silence, the crowd erupted in a chaotic uproar. What's going on? Who is this guy? He actually spoke to Supervisor Lin in that tone. He even said he'd throw the Tong siblings out. Has his brain been damaged? Doesn't he know where he is? Exactly. This is the Metro Parts Center, jointly owned by the Wild Wolf Gang and Zhang's repair factory. Who are you? Supervisor Lin's face clearly showed displeasure. Who am I? HMPH. Yang Hong snapped his fingers. Hongzi, tell him. Liang Weihong immediately ran forward, puffing out his chest. This is my boss, Yang Hong. Who will be your big boss in the future? What? Our big boss? That's impossible. Isn't this a place where the Wild Wolf Gang and Zhang's repair factory have a joint venture? When did they change bosses? Upon hearing this, everyone was immediately shocked. Manager Lin was taken aback at first, then his gaze became suspicious. You are Yang Hong. He was not from an ordinary social class and naturally had his own information channels, so he had heard about what happened at Bar 12 last night. At first, he thought it was a prank, but he didn't expect the real culprit to have come knocking on his door today. Yang Hong didn't speak, but magically produced 2 black metal boxes. Seeing the 2 black boxes, Manager Lin immediately broke out in a cold sweat. Can I confirm these share certificates? As a manager, he naturally knew about share certificates. No problem. Manager Lin was about to reach out to take them, but Yang Hong withdrew his hand. What are you doing? Manager Lin's face turned pale. These share certificates haven't had their shareholder registration changed yet, Yang Hong said somewhat pettily. These 2 share certificates had just been obtained from the Wild Wolf Gang and Zhang Jianrun, and the shareholder transfer certificate hadn't been processed. If they were taken back, Yang Hong would have nowhere to turn. Suyinru from Bar 12 had reminded Yang Hong more than once. However, it was strange that this young girl was always helping him. Yang Hong was puzzled. Manager Lin's expression softened, and he expressed understanding. He pulled a wire from his electronic bracelet and connected it to the two black boxes. Soon, Manager Lin confirmed that both share certificates were genuine, so he immediately changed his address and introduced himself. Boss Yang, I'm Lin Ming, the manager of the Mecha Parts Center. Thinking about the bad impression he'd left on the new boss, he felt like crying. What? He really is the new boss, shh. Keep your voice down, didn't you hear Manager Lin admit it? With a new boss, what are we supposed to do? What else can we do? Just consider it a change of who we're trying to curry favor with. That's true. Quiet, as a manager, Lin Ming was sometimes more useful than the big boss. Seeing the crowd quiet down, he immediately pointed at two burly men in the crowd. You two, go and kick them out right now. Who dares? The glamorous woman's face changed drastically. This, Manager Lin, they are. I'll ask you one more time, are you going or not? Because he had left a bad impression on the new boss, Lin Ming was eager to clear his name, and this was an opportunity to curry favor with him. As for the original boss, didn't you see that both share certificates were in the new boss's hands? The two were still hesitating. You two can leave now. Lin Ming pointed to the door with a stern face, but as soon as he finished speaking, he turned back to Yang Hong and asked, Boss, do I still have the right to fire employees? That depends on the situation. Yang Hong picked his nose and said, however, today is a special case, so I'll reluctantly agree. Seeing Yang Hong agree, Lin Ming's spirits lifted, which meant that the new boss's impression of him had changed. You, and you. Lin Ming immediately pointed at the two people, then at the alluring woman and her brother, and the security guards lying on the ground, and you're all fired from today onwards. You have no right to fire me. The alluring woman panicked and screamed. Oh Manager Lin, you have quite the nerve. Just then, a sinister voice suddenly came from the doorway. Everyone turned around and saw that it was Zhang Jianren from Zhang's repair shop, and with him were his repairmen and a group of members from the Wild Wolf Gang. Among them, Hong Bao stood smugly in front of the Wild Wolf Gang members, walking side by side with Zhang Jianren. Upon seeing them appear, the alluring woman rushed to Zhang Jianren's side, crying and shouting, Boss, they want to fire me. You have to stand up for me. You absolutely have to stand up for me, she yelled, shaking Zhang Jianren's arm violently. HMPH. Manager Lin, you have some nerve. Who's backing you up? Zhang Jianren's eyes widened. Hey. Isn't this the one who likes to treat people to free meals? Before Manager Lin could speak, Yang Hong stood in front with a grin. Damn it, what does likes to treat people to free meals mean? Zhang Jianren was furious. Who is he again? Yang Hong looked at Hong Bao, scratching his head, indicating he didn't recognize him. You've been dancing on my body the whole time, how come you don't remember me? Hong Bao sniffed his big red nose in grievance. Chapter 17 The shrewd, powerful, and domineering boss. No. He wasn't here to make Yang Hong remember him. Suddenly, Hong Bao realized he was there to stop this treacherous brat from seizing the Mech Parts Center. Yang Hong, watch your mouth. We're here to take back Boss Zhang's share certificates, Hong Bao shouted, his eyes red. With his red nose and red eyes, he looked like a perfect red triangle, almost making Yang Hong laugh. That's right, I'm here to take back the share certificates. Having almost fallen for Yang Hong's trap, Zhang Jianren was furious. Take back the share certificates and then split the profits with him? Was that even possible? Yang Hong touched his nose, looking at the two strangely. You have investments in the Mech Parts Center? Of course I. Hong Bao was about to answer loudly, but remembering that Ling Feng had already lost the Wild Wolf Gang's share certificates, he stopped abruptly, his neck red as he whispered, No, and you? Yang Hong looked at Zhang Jianren. Of course I do. And I own 50%, Zhang Jianren immediately exclaimed. Then give it to me. Yang Hong held out his right hand. Give me what? Zhang Jianren asked angrily. The share certificate, of course. Isn't the share certificate right on you? Zhang Jianren immediately jumped up. Since the share certificate is on me, where did you get your investment? Yang Hong laughed. You stole mine, Zhang Jianren said rudely. Yes, you stole Boss Zhang's share certificate, Hong Bao immediately chimed in, and his underlings immediately booed. Seeing this, Most of the employees of the Metro Parts Center hurriedly retreated a distance, leaving only a few people who dared to face Yang Hong and his group. Of course, Lin Ming, as the supervisor, was the first to step forward, standing a small half-step behind Yang Hong. He was very shrewd. If the information he received last night was true, this new boss definitely had the ability to challenge the Wild Wolf Gang and Zhang Jianren. Otherwise, how could he have two share certificates in his hands, and the other party dared not take them back? This was a time to curry favor, and he naturally couldn't fall behind. "Boss, should I call the police?" Lin Ming whispered. "In the junkyard, there's a saying, if you're in trouble, call the police. If you're in danger, call the police. Whatever happens, call the police," and sure enough, this saying came in handy immediately. If there were bad guys, of course you'd call the police. "Lin Ming, are you looking for death?" Hong Bao, with his excellent hearing, immediately glared at Lin Ming. "What are you doing? Get out of here!" Yang Hong waved his hand, angrily shouting, "Who do you think you are, yelling at my men on my turf?" Hong Bao wanted to say something, but Yang Hong's waving hand made him nervous, and he immediately backed down. His back was still aching from last night's events. The boss is shrewd. The boss is mighty. The boss is domineering. Seeing this, Lin Ming was so excited he almost cried. Finally, his previous bad impression of him had been erased. Not only that, this is a signal. The new boss seems to consider him one of his own, which is the most important thing. It means he can definitely stay in his supervisory position and continue to be loyal and dedicated. Thinking of this, Lin Ming's eyes lit up, and he immediately asked, "Boss, what about us?" As for Zhang Jianren and the Wild Wolf Gang, they had long been forgotten. "Forget it, why call the police? If we can't even handle this ourselves, how can we stand in the junkyard?" Yang Hong said domineeringly. "Yes, yes, yes." Lin Ming's eyes immediately lit up with countless little stars, his admiration for Yang Hong flowing like the Yangtze River. This is the demeanor a boss should have. Only a boss like this is worth following. "You're smart," Zhang Jianren snorted coldly. "Okay, it's settled then. We'll handle our own affairs, and we won't involve outsiders." To be honest, Zhang Jianren was really afraid that Yang Hong would call the police, because the share certificates were now in his hands, and if the police came, they definitely wouldn't side with him. "How else can this be resolved?" Yang Hong asked in surprise. "No need to resolve this." Zhang Jianren was taken aback, then immediately burst into laughter. "You're smart enough to know what's good for you. Since you're so sensible, just return my share certificate first." "Yang Hong, are you out of your mind? Is something wrong with you?" "What do you mean?" Zhang Jianren's lips twitched, completely bewildered. "You haven't invested in the Metro Parts Center, why should I give you a share certificate?" Yang Hong retorted. "This repair workshop belongs to me, and I also provided those repair workers." Zhang Jianren was furious. "Is that so?" Yang Hong snapped his fingers, and Lin Ming immediately bowed and scraped. "Boss, what's the matter? Is there a repair workshop here?" Yang Hong asked. "Yes, there is, but what?" "Speak quickly." Yang Hong frowned impatiently. Looking at Zhang Jianren, Lin Ming gritted his teeth and said, "This repair workshop was also built by the Wild Wolf Gang. In other words, it belongs to you, boss." Haha. Hearing this, Yang Hong laughed. "That settles it. Since the repair workshop belongs to me, then give it to me." Yang Hong stretched out his right hand again. "Give what?" Zhang Jianren was dumbfounded, almost turning into a bean coin. Rent, Yang Hong said arrogantly. "Your people are occupying the repair workshop here without paying rent. Do you think I have to pay half of the shares? Damn it." Zhang Jianren was furious. He came to get back his share certificate, but why did he have to pay rent? "You little brat, are you asking for it?" Zhang Jianren was furious. He waved his hand behind him and said, "Attack." Immediately, the roar of mechas came from outside the Mech Parts Center. The huge noise made the ground of the entire Mech Parts Center shake. HMPH. Zhang Jianren snorted, "I don't care about the share certificate you won back from Ling Feng, but the one you snatched from me, you have to return it to me today, no matter what." "Holy crap. By force?" Yang Hong blinked, looking at the several huge mechas outside the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn it. Yang Hong was furious. To deal with the mechas, he could only use the Devouring Worm's ultimate move, but this move could only attack one mech at a time. Now, the opponent had actually sent out 7, which meant he would have to use it 7 times in a row. 7 times, what did that mean? Don't get confused, this 7 times wasn't 7 times in one night, but it was close. 7 times, Yang Hong would have to be shocked by the devouring worm 7 times, and in a short period of time. Thinking of the power of the devouring worm's electricity, Yang Hong couldn't stay calm, he became square-faced. 7 times. Damn it, Yang Hong was about to cry. Chapter 18 I was just passing by, how did the road disappear? How he seeing Yang Hong's flustered appearance, Zhang Jianren and Hong Bao exchanged glances and chuckled, their laughter quite lewd. This was a plan they had spent an entire night devising. Although Yang Hong was quite capable in combat, this world didn't emphasize individual strength, but rather the power of the mecha. Zhang Jianren had been present during Yang Hong's mecha battle with Ling Feng. Based on his observation and judgment, Yang Hong was definitely a mecha novice, and his lucky victory was related to the unfortunate Ling Feng. Therefore, for this acquisition of the share certificates, they had urgently transferred 7 mechas from a nearby city overnight. Although the 7 mecha pilots were all novices, they were more than capable of dealing with a newcomer. Moreover, these 7 mechas were not engineering mechas, but genuine combat-specific mechas, and specifically designed for males. Speaking of being designed for males, even Zhang Jianren had to cross himself for Ling Feng's bad luck. Scared, Zhang Jianren chuckled maliciously. Scared, aren't you? Hong Bao immediately chimed in, also chuckling. Hand over the share certificate immediately. Yes, hand it over. I'm not greedy. Yes, not greedy. I just want my share back. Yes, just my share back. No, we want Mr. Zhang's share back. Sensing something was wrong, Hong Bao quickly changed his tune. The two of them, working in unison, made the already frustrated Yang Hong even more annoyed. Are you two ever going to stop? Yang Hong was furious. As long as you obediently hand over my share certificate, we'll be all done with you, Zhang Jianren sneered. That's right, we're not greedy, we just want Mr. Zhang's share back, Hong Bao chimed in again. Are you two ever going to stop? Yang Hong genuinely couldn't stand these two anymore. Suddenly, just as Zhang Jianren was about to speak again, the roar of mechas came from outside once more. Judging from the sound, it was clearly 2 mechas, and these 2 mechas were not among the 7 mechas. Boss Zhang, how many mechas did we bring in total? Hong Bao scratched his head blankly. That's all, only 7. I personally contacted them. Zhang Jianren was suspicious. Could other mechas have been passing by? Rat-a-tat-tat. Bang 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 bang. Boom 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 boom. After bursts of mech gunfire and fighting sounds, the 7 mechas outside the door suddenly exploded, turning into wreckage. What happened? Zhang Jianren was dumbfounded. Hong Bao was equally dumbfounded, his big red nose twitching exaggeratedly with his breathing. What's going on? Yang Hong was also stunned, blinking and staring intently at the door. With 2 whooshes, 2 mechas happened to stop at the entrance of the mech parts center. As the cockpit opened, 2 people stepped out. Huh? It's you guys, Yang Hong chuckled upon seeing them. Just passing by, Gu Fengren replied with a smile. Yes, we were just passing by, Su Yinru playfully pursed her cute little nose. Good, Yang Hong laughed heartily. They really were just passing by, Hong Bao was dumbfounded. Passing by? What kind of passing by is that? Zhang Jianren was so angry his eyes were glazed over. If it weren't for the fact that Hong Bao had been promoted to head of the Wild Wolf Gang's junkyard, he would have definitely smashed this idiot's head open to see if it was made of glue. Passing by? Does passing by require destroying their 7 mechas? Seeing the mechas reduced to wreckage, Zhang Jianren felt dizzy. He had rented those 7 mechas and hadn't even paid for them yet. Now they were all wrecked, and he didn't know how he was going to compensate them. However, Zhang Jianren was clear about one thing: if he had to compensate for those 7 mechas, Zhang's repair shop would definitely have to tighten its belt for the next few days. Thinking of this, Zhang Jianren wanted to cry but had no tears. Today seems to be the day you take over the Mecha Parts Center, so I brought you a gift on the way. As soon as they entered, Su Yinru rushed forward and shoved a box into Yang Hong's arms. Seeing this, Gu Fengren stumbled, almost falling to the ground. What was going on? It seemed they hadn't prepared any gifts before coming, had they? And, he, the adoptive father, hadn't received many gifts from his adopted daughter throughout the year. A gift? Yang Hong was surprised. You're just passing by and want to give a gift? Hong Bao couldn't help but turn to ask Zhang Jianren. Zhang Jianren's lips twitched incessantly, unsure what to say. Yang Hong never refused gifts. He casually opened the box. Inside was an exquisite bracelet. "What's this for?" Yang Hong picked up the bracelet without a second thought, blinking as he asked. "A daughter grows up and leaves home. A daughter grows up and leaves home." Gu Fengren stared at the bracelet, his eyes wide, then pounded his chest in regret, somewhat regretting bringing Su Yinru along. However, compared to this, he was even more furious at Yang Hong's careless and unappreciative treatment of the bracelet, wishing he could snatch it back. "This is a gift from my little darling, and you treat it like this. It's infuriating." Gu Fengren's anger grew with each glance. Su Yinru also pouted, expressing her dissatisfaction with Yang Hong's behavior. "Give it to me, I'll put it on for you." She snatched the bracelet away. However, when she helped Yang Hong remove the bracelet from his arm, she showed a different kind of gentleness. "This is a high-end model bracelet. Compared to the ordinary bracelet you're wearing now, it has an additional communication function," Su Yinru explained gently as she helped Yang Hong put it on. "Girls grow up and leave home. Girls grow up and leave home." Gu Fengren, meanwhile, was pounding his chest and stamping his feet, staring at the two of them with wide eyes. He coughed incessantly, coughing loudly, coughing very loudly. However, Su Yinru didn't hear his cough, even though his throat was almost dry from coughing. Lin Ming and the others wanted to laugh but dared not, their faces contorted with suppressed laughter. Gu Fengren's heart was filled with tears. He was just passing by, never expecting that just passing by would lead to the loss of his little darling. What happened? What happened? Alright, soon, Su Yinru helped Yang Hong put on the advanced bracelet, but she still didn't hear her adoptive father Gu Fengren's cough, as it wasn't very loud at this time. "By the way, this is the communication system, and this is my contact number." After Su Yinru finished speaking, a blush inexplicably flashed across her face, and then she helped Yang Hong transfer the star points from the old bracelet. Cough cough cough, cough 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 cough. Hearing that Su Yinru's contact number was stored in the advanced bracelet, Gu Fengren finally couldn't hold back anymore. Even though his throat was dry and hoarse, his cough could be heard throughout the entire Mecha Part Center. "Foster father, what's wrong? Is your throat sore?" Finally, Su Yinru heard a cough and turned around in surprise to ask. Chapter 19. There's a certain style to rolling around. And nothing, it's nothing. Despite her throat being parched, Gu Fengren managed to squeeze out a "nothing's wrong." That's good." Su Yinru then bent down to help Yang Hong transfer the funds from his old bracelet to his new one. Uncomfortable. Absolutely uncomfortable. And it wasn't just her throat that was uncomfortable, her body and mind were both aching. Gu Fengren was almost in tears. "You've only known that kid for a day or two, while I've raised you for a full 19 years. 19 years, since you were old enough to understand, you only received a gift on your birthday each year, and you dared to give Yang Hong a gift the very second you met him. And it was a high-end bracelet, and most importantly, this high-end bracelet even had a unique number stored in it. Regret, so much regret. Does he really think I don't exist?" Gu Fengren wanted to cry but had no tears. If only he hadn't brought her out, just passing by like this, and he'd lost a daughter. Just then, Hong Bao suddenly spoke up. "Boss Gu, are you done passing by? If you are, please leave. Yang Hong and I have a little." Gu Fengren was already furious and had nowhere to vent his anger. Hong Bao, who was suddenly caught in the crossfire, remained oblivious. "It's just a small problem, it'll be resolved soon." Facing Gu Fengren's fiery gaze, he spoke softer and softer. Zhang Jianren, standing to the side, almost cursed him as an idiot. "A small problem, come on, let us handle it." Gu Fengren stepped forward, grabbed Hong Bao, and hurriedly headed out. No, I'm not going." Hong Bao immediately panicked and hurriedly called for help. "Boss Zhang, weren't they just passing by? Why are you dragging me along?" Zhang Jianren immediately turned his head away guiltily, pretending not to see. What a joke. Gu Fengren was one of the top mecha experts in the junkyard, and his skills were superb, even praised by the military. He didn't have the guts to challenge him. Besides, an idiot with a screw loose isn't worth his time. After the two left the Mecha Parts Center, Lin Ming and the others wiped away their sweat, watching Hong Bao's retreating figure, each one praying for him. Someone who's blind to reason with others is bound to be extraordinary. Is this the time for them to interject? After the transfer was complete, Yang Hong glanced at the new bracelet and smacked his lips. Not bad, pretty new, that's it. Su Yinru blinked her small eyes in dissatisfaction and asked. Yeah, Yang Hong said matter-of-factly. By the way, will anyone recycle the old ones? Old ones are still money, recycling them can be used as a tip or something. Su Yinru's face was ashen. Don't you think you should say something? Of course I should. Yang Hong nodded vigorously. Su Yinru's expression softened slightly. You, and you too. Yang Hong pointed at Zhang Jianren and his group of men, as well as the Wild Wolf Gang members. He then turned to look at his own employees, and pointed again at the group that had retreated a considerable distance, saying, and you all, get the hell out of here, huh? Su Yinru was instantly petrified. What do you mean? Zhang Jianren's lips twitched. We are your employees, we are from the Mech Parts Center, why do we have to get out too? Instantly, the Mech Parts Center turned into a chaotic marketplace. None of you work for our Mecha Parts Center, so what? Can't I just kick you out? Yang Hong roared at Zhang Jianren and the others, then turned to them, and you guys, look around. Look at the mess you've made of my Mecha Parts Center, we didn't even know we had a new boss. Yeah, it was all the security supervisor's orders, exactly. If we'd known we had a new boss, we definitely wouldn't have done this. Yang Hong snorted and snapped his fingers. Supervisor Lin Ming immediately stepped forward. Boss, what's wrong? Tell me, are you aware of this mess around here? Yang Hong asked non-committally. This, Lin Ming was in a dilemma. He had finally gained the new boss's approval, but now this trouble had appeared. However, he remained honest. I know, but it was all the security supervisor and the finance supervisor's orders, Lin Ming quickly added. The security supervisor and the finance supervisor, Yang Hong asked, puzzled. Who are they? How do they have so much power? It's them, Lin Ming gestured, pointing to the alluring woman and her unconscious brother. They're all people sent by the Wild Wolf Gang, so they have more power than me, the supervisor. No wonder, they're from the Wild Wolf Gang. Yang Hong finally understood. You can't command them, can't command them, can't command them. Lin Ming shook his head repeatedly. What about them? Yang Hong pointed to the retreating employees. Can't command them, can't command any of them. They all listened to those two. Lin Ming was indeed feeling frustrated as the supervisor, so he immediately stepped forward to express his support when he learned of the new boss. You're really a failure, Yang Hong shook his head. Since that's the case, then that's settled. Since they don't listen to you, let's replace them with another batch. So, you're all laid off too, Yang Hong said to the employees. The finance supervisor controlled Yang Hong's finances, and the security supervisor controlled Yang Hong's safety. If they stayed, Yang Hong would be the one who regretted it. The crowd fell silent, and even the employees of the former Mecha Parts Center lowered their heads. Alright, this matter is settled. You can leave now, having resolved everything. Yang Hong waved his hand dismissively, effectively ordering them to leave. Yang Hong, you'll regret this. You'll absolutely regret this, Zhang Jianren huffed. Let me tell you, I'll definitely be back, I'll definitely be back. That sounds familiar. Yang Hong raised an eyebrow, scoffing. What, do you think you're Grey Wolf or Team Rocket? However, Grey Wolf and Team Rocket seem to be more popular than him. The Wild Wolf Gang members were already terrified of him. They didn't dare retaliate, nor did they dare meet his gaze, turning their heads away. Zhang Jianren's men dared not speak either, seeing their boss had been humiliated. Wouldn't they be asking for trouble? However, just as they were about to leave, Yang Hong spoke again. Wait, what else do you want? Zhang Jianren asked grimly. I told you to get out, Yang Hong shouted arrogantly. If you're going to leave, do it properly. Crawling doesn't count, you? Zhang Jianren stumbled, completely dumbfounded. That's right, get out. Lin Ming immediately stepped forward, echoing the call. Crawling doesn't count. Liang Weihong wasn't about to back down, because he had also realized that Lin Ming was definitely a formidable opponent in the future. If he fell behind, he would never be able to recover his current position. You all, luckily, Zhang Jianren didn't have any heart problems, otherwise he would definitely have a heart attack. Yang Hong didn't say much, he just raised his arm and chuckled sinisterly. Lin Ming immediately joined in. Liang Weihong was equally unwilling to back down. This combination seemed so familiar. Zhang Jianren blinked. Wasn't this the same back and forth he and Hong Bao had done at the beginning? Zhang Jianren almost fainted. As a big shot near the garbage dump, When had he ever been treated like this? Listen to my command, all of you hold hands. Seeing them soften, Yang Hong immediately gave the order. The group had no choice but to hold hands. Get out of here, Yang Hong waved his hand. Tears welled in their eyes, but they really did immediately lie down on the ground and roll out the door. Anyone else have had their precious girl disappear like old Gu did? Raise your hand. By the way, please vote. Chapter 20, Gestures must be correct. Su Yinru was piloting a mecha, and Yang Hong's short legs couldn't possibly keep up. Luckily, he already knew that even in the junkyard, there were convenient, fast, and stylish taxis. It was a pity his sidekick Liang Weihong wasn't there, otherwise things would be much simpler. Imitating Liang Weihong, Yang Hong waved. After a while, the taxi didn't appear. Yang Hong was puzzled. Was he going the wrong way? He waved again in another direction. After another while, a crow flew by, Yang Hong's face darkening. What the hell was that? Was his posture wrong? Yang Hong waved again in another direction, striking a seductive pose. Soon, his face turned green. What was going on? Why didn't the taxi appear? He had imitated Liang Weihong perfectly, the posture, the gesture, the direction, so why wasn't the taxi showing up? As the sun passed its midday mark, Yang Hong flew into a rage, yelling, "Taxi! Taxi! You damn taxi! Get in here!" Thankfully, after a few shouts, a taxi finally appeared. However, upon seeing the direction the taxi was coming from, Yang Hong's face darkened, and he felt 1,000 curses running through his mind. This was exactly the direction he had first hailed. The taxi driver was skilled. As soon as the car stopped, the passenger door was directly facing Yang Hong. With a snap, the door opened automatically, but Yang Hong didn't want to get in so quickly. "I hailed it, my posture was correct, and the direction was right, why didn't you appear from the beginning?" Yang Hong asked sternly. "Did you call a taxi?" The driver, a middle-aged man, looked up in surprise. "If you hadn't yelled it out, I wouldn't have known you were calling a taxi." "What?" Yang Hong was furious. He gestured with his hands, pointing towards the direction the taxi appeared, and angrily said, "Didn't you see my gesture? Didn't you see me waving? And you weren't even in that direction, but you didn't call a taxi," the middle-aged man said innocently. "Say that again." Yang Hong was furious, wishing he could kick the car door off. "Kid, don't be so impulsive. There are plenty of capable people in this junkyard," the middle-aged man chuckled. "Besides, your gesture is wrong, so naturally you won't get a taxi." "Wrong gesture?" Yang Hong's eyes widened. "Look, this is the correct gesture." The middle-aged man held out his hand and demonstrated. "Only by making this correct gesture will we know you're calling a taxi, otherwise, no one will bother you." So, it turned out his gesture was indeed wrong. Yang Hong felt incredibly embarrassed. "Are you going to get a ride or not?" Seeing that Yang Hong hadn't gotten in, the middle-aged man became somewhat displeased. "Sit, of course I'll sit." Yang Hong still had to catch up with Su Yinru. Could he keep up with a mecha at full speed without a car? "Where to?" "Number 12, I guess." The taxi sped off, leaving the metro parts center in the blink of an eye. "Young man, fellow gambler," the middle-aged man blinked and asked. "Fellow gambler," Yang Hong was taken aback. "Everyone going to number 12 is a mecha betting player. Are you going to buy, or are you planning to join the fight as a mecha pilot?" "Oh my god, he's a gambling addict?" Yang Hong was speechless. "I'm going to find someone." It took Yang Hong a while to come to his senses. "Find someone? Not your old flame, is it?" The middle-aged man grinned lewdly. "Damn, old flame." Yang Hong was truly speechless. If he really considered Su Yinru his old flame, he would definitely jump off a building, and he would choose at least 100 stories high. Such a violent woman, Yang Hong couldn't handle her. Faced with the middle-aged man's words, Yang Hong chose to obediently shut his mouth. Even so, the middle-aged man had been a chatterbox the entire way, constantly nagging until Yang Hong's ears were practically calloused. Finally arriving at bar number 12, he practically scrambled away from the taxi driver, otherwise, he would have become like Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, conjuring up a staff at the slightest provocation and knocking him down with a single blow. Inside bar number 12, many people recognized him. However, Yang Hong wasn't there to spend money. After mentioning Su Yinru's name, someone immediately led him to Su Yinru's office. But Su Yinru wasn't in her office. Fortunately, an assistant appeared, seemingly knowing Yang Hong's purpose, and directly led him to another place. Where is this? Arriving at the door, seeing the pinkish red door decorations, Yang Hong felt a little flustered. This is Miss Su's room, the assistant said with a professional smile. Can I not go in? Yang Hong forced a smile. HMPH. Just as Yang Hong uttered those words, a soft snort came from inside the room. Yang Hong was speechless. He glanced at his assistant, who still wore a professional smile. This is what Miss instructed. If you arrive, bring her here, damn it. What does instructed even mean? She clearly has ulterior motives. Yang Hong was filled with regret, truly regretful beyond measure. But now, he was already at the door. Was he really going to turn back? Oh well, Yang Hong steeled himself and straightened his back. She was just a little girl. As a grown man, what did he have to be afraid of? However, before entering, he had to be polite. Did he see his assistant was still watching? Yang Hong gently knocked on the door. After a while, there was no sound. Seeing his assistant still wearing a professional smile, Yang Hong's expression changed. Where did she knock? Yang Hong knocked again, this time with much more force. I didn't hear you, Su Yinru's voice came from inside the room. What the hell? Yang Hong was speechless. The assistant, still sporting a professional smile, stood to the side. Seeing this assistant, Yang Hong felt a surge of anger. Damn it, why aren't you leaving? You're just watching me make a fool of myself. What's going on, Miss? Is afraid you'll run away, the assistant said politely, seemingly sensing Yang Hong's displeasure. Damn. Yang Hong was about to kneel down. Who speaks so bluntly? But honestly, if this assistant weren't there, Yang Hong would definitely have run away. If the Wild Wolfgang really intended to take back the share certificate of the Mecha Parts Center, then he'd settle things with his fists. After wiping away a bead of sweat, Yang Hong knocked on the door again, this time almost with all his might. Of course, Yang Hong still controlled himself, otherwise, his body, modified by the devouring worm, would have knocked the door open with a single blow. If that happened, and the girl inside deliberately dressed provocatively, wouldn't he be held responsible? Yang Hong said he couldn't do that, he couldn't bear that responsibility. I didn't hear you, Su Yinru inside replied, even as Yang Hong pounded on the door. What the hell is going on? Yang Hong's head was practically spinning with exasperation. Finally, the assistant couldn't help but speak up. When you knock on the door, shouldn't you politely greet the person inside? Although the assistant still wore a professional smile, Yang Hong felt his face turn a deep green. Chapter 21. Being a boss means more than just counting money, it also means spending it. Yang Hong took a few deep breaths, then knocked on the door again, this time very gently. Is anyone home? Yang Hong asked knowingly. Come in. Hearing this, Yang Hong was excited, tears welling in his eyes. He had been waiting for this for ages before it finally came out. He swore that when he saw that little brat, he would give her a good beating. Seeing Yang Hong open the door and go in, the assistant turned and left, his shoulders twitching as he did so, clearly suppressing a fit of laughter. If Yang Hong saw this, he would definitely punch him. This was truly humiliating. After entering the room, Yang Hong didn't close the door immediately. His eyes darted around. The room didn't have the large bed with big blankets he had imagined, nor were there clothes scattered on the floor. There was only a dining table in the center, and the little brat was sitting properly at the table, eating. Importantly, the little brat was dressed properly. Yang Hong finally breathed a sigh of relief, his original vow long forgotten. Sit down, Su Yinru said, pointing to the chair next to her. So close to you? Absolutely not. Yang Hong noticed another chair directly opposite the little girl and quickly ran over to sit down, sitting very properly. Su Yinru's face darkened, but she quickly recovered. Speak, what is it? She said casually, putting down her cutlery. But seeing her hand still tightly gripping a gleaming fork, Yang Hong immediately dared not say another word, pulling out 2 share certificates and getting straight to the point. Boss Lao said only you can change the shareholder of the share certificates. Hearing this, Su Yinru, who was already in a bad mood, immediately had a glint of light in her eyes. Give it to me, Su Yinru said, extending her hand. Yang Hong was embarrassed. The table wasn't large, but it wasn't small either. The distance between them was far too great for either of them to reach out with their arms outstretched. This meant he still had to get closer to the little girl. Helpless, Yang Hong had no choice but to grit his teeth and walk over, carefully handing over the share certificates. As soon as Su Yinru took them, he abruptly pulled his hand back, the movement so fast it was almost impossible to see. Su Yinru was furious, her teeth clenched, and she stomped her feet under the table. She wasn't some ferocious beast, why was she so afraid? Seeing the 2 share certificates in her hand, Su Yinru's eyes lit up, and she immediately had an idea. Do you know how to run a mecha parts center? Isn't it just buying goods with one hand and selling them with the other? Yang Hong said dismissively. Is this the method you're talking about for $1 million monthly profit? Su Yinru's lips twitched. Of course, isn't that how all stores do it? Su Yinru was enraged. She had genuinely thought Yang Hong had a secret formula that could make a mecha parts center, far from the city and located in a junkyard, $1 million monthly profit. She never expected him to be just spouting empty words. Do you know where to get the parts? Do you know how the parts are distributed? Do you know who'll buy the parts? Su Yinru bombarded him with a barrage of important questions about the mecha parts center. No, Yang Hong replied honestly. You know nothing, I know nothing, Yang Hong replied firmly. Then how dare you say you earn $1 million a month? Su Yinru snapped. Isn't there a supervisor? Yang Hong thought of Lin Ming. The supervisor does all that for you, so what are you doing? Su Yinru laughed in exasperation. Counting money, Yang Hong blinked, retorting, as the boss, what else would you be doing if not counting money? Su Yinru's eyes widened, speechless with anger. Seeing her reaction, Yang Hong quickly added, of course, as the boss, besides counting money, you also have to find every possible way to spend it. What? Spend money too? Su Yinru's eyes nearly blazed with anger. Bar number 12 was supposed to be profitable, but even in such a lucrative place, Gu Fenggren and Su Yinru dare not spend money recklessly, because unexpected events could lead to continuous losses. If something serious happened, they could lose their entire year's income. But this Yang Hong, without earning a single penny, was already thinking about spending it all. How could Su Yinru not be furious? No, this absolutely couldn't be allowed. With her there, Su Yinru would never let Yang Hong squander his money. However, she wasn't anyone to Yang Hong, so what power did she have to stop him? An idea struck her. Seeing the 2 share certificates in her hand, Su Yinru's eyes lit up, and she immediately had another idea. Su Yinru revealed a sly look and smiled. You have 2 share certificates, which means at least 2 people need to jointly manage them to change the shareholder's name on the share certificates. What? Yang Hong was dumbfounded. 2 share certificates mean 2 people, how could that be? He wanted to enjoy all the income alone, how could he let another ingrate in? Can't you transfer it all to my name? No, that's a requirement from Xingfu, Su Yinru said seriously, her face stern. Then what should I do? Yang Hong felt dizzy. Can't you find someone else to partner with? Su Yinru was a little annoyed that he couldn't wrap his head around it. Oh my god, Yang Hong had no intention of finding anyone to partner with at all. He looked at Su Yinru pitifully. Since 2 share certificates have already been issued, this is necessary. Su Yinru pretended to think for a moment before speaking. How about you partner with our number 12 bar? That way, our number 12 bar can openly transfer all the mecha parts business to your name. How much mecha parts business does your number 12 bar have each month? Yang Hong blinked. If there are many gambling battles, we'll need about 1 million star coins worth of parts each month. Even if there's not much business, it'll still be around 100,000 to 200,000. Partnering with Bar 12 is definitely feasible. Hearing about the potential income, Yang Hong's eyes immediately lit up. Such high income, even if he had to split it in half, he wouldn't mind, since the main customer was Bar 12. In other words, this was free income, and Yang Hong would agree even if he had to give up half. You don't think this is pure profit, do you? Seeing Yang Hong's expression, Su Yinru was both amused and exasperated, knowing exactly what he was thinking. Not pure profit, Yang Hong was clearly confused. Of course. The mecha parts center isn't a place that produces parts, so of course we need to source them. Su Yinru covered her mouth, explaining with a grin, Bar 12 is a big customer. Knowing you're making a profit, they'll naturally lower the price. So, for over 1 million star coins worth of parts, that's probably a net profit of 30,000 to 50,000. 30,000 to 50,000 in profit? Yang Hong was immediately petrified. What happened to the promised 1 million? Why did it suddenly become 30 or 50,000? How can we even team up like this? Yang Hong absolutely refused. By the way, if you hire too many employees, you'll have to deduct their salaries and the taxes to be paid to Xingfu. What's left is the real income, Suyinru said with a smile. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Women's Hearts, A Women's Hearts. They still have to deduct this and that. Hearing this answer, Yang Hong almost cried. He asked pitifully, so, after all that deduction, how much will I have left? Seeing his expression, Suyinru almost laughed through her tears, but she held it in. Then, resting her chin on her hand, she pretended to think for a moment before speaking. Let me think. After all that deduction, there should be 10 or 20,000 left. What? Yang Hong's eyes widened, and he clutched his chest, his heart aching terribly. A business deal worth over $1 million, after all that deduction, was reduced to only 10 or 20,000. Oh well, this was only the income from the 12th bar. Fortunately, it was still within his means. If it were all deducted, he would definitely be heartbroken. You think this is net income? Suyinru blinked her small eyes, barely suppressing her laughter. Yang Hong was taken aback at first, then his brows twitched, and he asked cautiously, it's not net income, could it be? That's right, this is the part that I have to pay out of pocket. Suyinru finally couldn't help but smile, her lips pursed. She suddenly realized that being too proactive might be disliked, while teasing him like this was quite nice. At least, she could always keep track of Yang Hong's emotions. That's right, from now on, she would use a rope around his nose and lead him around, Suyinru thought, holding her water glass, drinking water while secretly making a slightly smug decision. If Yang Hong knew what Suyinru was thinking, he would definitely collapse completely. However, Yang Hong was already close to collapsing. It's over, a big business worth over $1 million, and I still have to pay out of pocket. Yang Hong's eyes were watery, on the verge of tears. If it was like this, how would he count money in the future? How would he spend money? He couldn't live like this anymore. Look, how about this? With great difficulty, Yang Hong finally recovered. He rubbed the hem of his clothes, looking like a shy little girl. Seeing this, Suyinru wanted to laugh, but couldn't let it out loud. She could only feign a glare and say irritably, go ahead, your number 12 mainly focuses on mecha battles, right? That's right, Suyinru nodded. Then your monthly demand for mecha parts must be quite high, right? That's right, didn't I tell you? Why are you asking? Suyinru pouted, annoyed. Had Yang Hong not heard her? This bad guy, really bad. The more she thought about it, the more her little mouth pouted, almost turning into a megaphone. Instead of buying parts from me, why don't you buy them yourselves? That way you can even earn the profits yourself. Yang Hong's eyes lit up, and he immediately said, I won't ask for much equity in the Mecha Parts Center, just a few tens of millions will do. PFFT. Hearing this, Suyinru spat out all the water in her mouth. Then, she rubbed her ears in disbelief. What did you just say? Tens of millions? I'll give you the share certificate for the Mech Parts Center to your number 12, Yang Hong argued confidently. You have 2 people, so 2 share certificates would be enough for each of you. I just told you the Mech Parts Center would be a loss-making venture, and now you want our number 12 to acquire it, and you want tens of millions. Suyinru's eyes twitched, then she flew into a rage. What angered her even more wasn't the tens of millions, but the different direction of the script. Her script was completely different. According to her plan, Yang Hong should immediately seek cooperation with number 12, then she would push things along, and in the end, the partner would be Suyinru herself. Once she had a stake in the Mech Parts Center, she could easily control Yang Hong and make him leave. But now, that script was ruined, and Suyinru absolutely could not accept it. This price isn't high, is it? Yang Hong, completely bewildered, blinked. I offered that Zhang guy something or other, he wanted 120 million, I only took a fraction. Suyinru jumped up, rushing to Yang Hong's side and grabbing his ear. A fraction? Your Mecha Parts Center is a loss-making business, nobody would want it even if it were free, and you actually dared to take money, and you took 10 million or 20 million, Suyinru's chest heaved with anger. Let go, you violent woman. Yang Hong was furious. He hated having his ear pulled more than anything, and he'd been pulled twice by the same person. How could he live like this after this? How could he, a grown man, ever leave this room? How could he leave bar number 12? How could he leave this junkyard? to dominate this area. A violent woman, Suyinru completely exploded. You dare call me violent? You dare call me violent? She clenched her left fist and slammed it hard into Yang Hong. Ouch! Although his body had been enhanced by the devouring worm, Yang Hong still cried out in pain from this punch. Dare to call me violent? Bang! Another punch. You actually dare to call me violent? Bang bang. This time, it was 2 punches in quick succession. The heavy blows even forced the devouring worm out of Yang Hong's body. Yang Hong, what happened? The devouring worm looked completely bewildered. I'm being tortured. Yang Hong was almost in tears. The devouring worm was about to ask if he needed help, but when it saw that the person torturing Yang Hong was actually this little girl, Suyinru, its little face that had just appeared immediately disappeared. Hitting is affection, scolding is love. You two can go ahead and kiss. Torture? You're a masochist, the devouring worm thought with disdain. You damn bug, you'll be sorry next time you come out. Yang Hong's eyes were brimming with tears, almost overflowing. Under Suyinru's heavy punches, Yang Hong felt like his body was about to fall apart. Although he was physically unharmed except for the pain, he knew he wouldn't be able to leave the room if this continued. However, Suyinru's anger flared up quickly and subsided just as fast. She stopped after only a few punches. HMPH, Suyinru snorted angrily, sniffing her agitated little nose. Tell me, am I a violent woman or not? Well, Yang Hong stammered, his face contorted with tears, rubbing his aching chest. At this moment, 3 fist-shaped marks appeared on his chest, small but dark red. Damn it, you've even got fist marks. If you're not a violent woman, I'll eat the whole table right now, Yang Hong vowed inwardly. Say it, Suyinru raised her small, metallic fist again. No, Yang Hong immediately stood up straight. Could he really say yes now? The tears in Yang Hong's heart had formed a massive waterfall. And, moreover, 10,000 alpacas were ready to set off, prepared for a carefree and exhilarating journey. Say it again, I can't hear you. Suddenly, Suyinru's mood improved considerably. And she asked coquettishly. How could you possibly be a violent woman? Absolutely not, absolutely not. A woman's heart, oh a woman's heart, how could you truly be as unfathomable as a needle at the bottom of the sea? In Yang Hong's heart, he cried and cried, almost creating a vast ocean of tears. Chapter 23, 2,100,000, not much? You only realize now that she's not a violent woman, Suyinru thought sweetly. Yang Hong's lips twitched, and he slowly closed his eyes, feeling 2 waterfalls of tears welling up in his eyes. Alright, let's get back to the point. Suyinru suddenly sensed the atmosphere had changed and immediately blushed, changing the subject. Okay, great. Yang Hong wished he could resolve the issue immediately, go home, lie in bed, and cry his heart out. It was just too frustrating, wasn't it? Since the script was scrapped, Suyinru decided to abandon the script and get straight to the point. Our number 12 bar will never directly acquire your Mecha Parts Center. What? Yang Hong opened his eyes. Why, that's a money-losing business. If you don't want it, are you going to go find that Zhang guy to send it back? Yang Hong didn't understand why anyone would like to do a losing business. And the ultimate victim was himself. As the saying goes, a gentleman can tolerate anything, but an uncle cannot. Was he beaten for nothing today? Touching the small black and red fist mark on his chest, Yang Hong suddenly became angry. That's Zhang something or other. If I ever see you again, I, Yang Hong, will definitely beat you to pulp. Our bar number 12 is a mecha arena. According to Star Government's laws, we can no longer be involved in mecha sales, repairs, or related industries. Why? Yang Hong asked. Because it will affect the development of the mecha industry, Suyinru said. The mecha arena itself is a highly profitable industry. If we get involved in the mecha industry again, it will definitely delay the overall development of the mecha industry, which is why Star Government issued this law. What does this have to do with me? I just want to sell that money-losing thing and get some disposable income. Yang Hong blinked. I don't know what Star Government is thinking, but it seems they have other plans, Suyinru said. I don't know if they are preparing for war, but the mecha industry is developing very quickly now, and they've used the mecha arena to discover many highly skilled civilians, then used various reasons to recruit them into the military. What does this have to do with me? I just want to sell that money-losing thing and get some disposable income. Yang Hong continued to blink. Therefore, for the rapid development of the mecha industry, Star Palace does not allow gambling arenas to directly acquire Mecha-related industries, including even the most basic retail. What does this have to do with me? I just want to package up the money-losing business and turn it into something usable. Yang Hong blinked repeatedly. However, although Bar 12 can't take over your Mecha Parts Center, there are still solutions. Finally getting to the point, Yang Hong's eyes widened, and his ears perked up. Looking at the two share certificates, Su Yinru's eyes gleamed with cunning. Find another person to join, and have that person invest some money, and that'll solve the problem. What? Find someone to join? Yang Hong was furious. What he needed was to immediately turn the money-losing business into cash, not to find someone to join. Huh? Suddenly, Yang Hong's eyes lit up. Finding someone to join, doesn't that mean if the Mecha Parts Center loses money, there will be another person to take responsibility? Of course, if that person has some ability and can turn it around, he could sit back and count his money. I want this, absolutely. Yang Hong's eyes lit up. Do you have anyone who can introduce you to someone? Of course, Su Yinru smiled like a little fox. Tell me quickly. Yang Hong's eyes shone like gold. Well, this person is right here, even though they're far away. The little girl was quite smug. PFFT, Yang Hong almost vomited blood. Why? Yang Hong's lips curled into a grin, his eyes twitching. If the partner was Su Yinru, it was absolutely unacceptable for Yang Hong. This violent woman was brimming with violence. If he partnered with her, wouldn't he be getting punched a few times a day? Looking down at the small black and red fist marks on his chest, Yang Hong was covered in sweat. In the junkyard, besides me, who else could take over your Mecha Parts Center's shares? Su Yinru asked coquettishly. This seemed to be the case. Yang Hong was dumbfounded. However, he quickly became shy again. Could you just buy it outright? No. Su Yinru refused immediately without blinking, her face stern. What a joke. This was her trump card to control Yang Hong. How could she possibly buy it outright? Besides, Su Yinru needed to use this equity to promote Pickpea Shrimp Gagago. The plot required it, and she couldn't change it. Then how much can you offer to buy it out? Yang Hong asked, his eyes welling up with tears. Let me think about it. Su Yinru bit her finger. This time, she was genuinely considering it, not just giving a perfunctory answer like before. Your Mecha Parts Center is currently a money loser. Not only do you have no customers, but you also have no supply. If I invest, I'll definitely lose money too. Yang Hong was dumbfounded. You're going to partner with me? If we can find someone with some ability, we should be able to turn things around. I can't guarantee much, but we can at least earn some pocket money, Su Yinru said. Lin Ming, the manager of the Mecha Parts Center, inexplicably yawned several times. He scratched his head, glanced at Gu Fengren drinking on the side, then closed his eyes and silently prayed for his new boss. Pocket money? Yang Hong was about to cry. How come the Mecha Parts Center, which he worked so hard for, even risking being electrocuted by the devouring worm, was just a place to earn pocket money? If he had known this would happen, he should have sold the share certificate back to that Zhang something or other. Without a lot of money, only a little, how could he live a carefree life in his timeline? How could he enjoy himself? Yang Hong felt like everything was going to fall apart, even thinking that if he ate too much fried rice again, he might be able to return to the original timeline. However, thinking about fried rice, it actually tasted pretty good. Yang Hong smacked his lips. Hey, what are you thinking about? Su Yinru tapped Yang Hong's forehead angrily. She hated being ignored when she spoke, especially when they were discussing serious business of partnership. I was wondering, how much money are you planning to use to buy the shares? Yang Hong asked seriously, his expression serious. Didn't I just say 2 million star coins? Su Yinru said irritably. 2 million isn't enough, at least 2, huh? Before Yang Hong could finish, he saw the little girl's right hand suddenly clench into her fist. He immediately straightened up and changed his mind. I said at least 2,100,000. After saying that, he broke out in a cold sweat. Why did he have to be afraid of this violent woman? Yang Hong was almost crying inside. 2,100,000, that's not much? Okay, 2,100,000 it is then. The little girl revealed a sly look, covered her mouth, and nodded with a smile. Then can you change the shareholder's name now? Yang Hong asked tearfully. I already changed it a long time ago. Su Yinru picked up 2 share certificates. Here, this one is for you, and this one is mine. When did you change it? Yang Hong was stunned. How many shares do I actually have? Chapter 24 The Talkative Uncle. Regarding the Mecha Parts Center, Yang Hong and Su Yinru's final equity distribution was 60-40. Originally, Su Yinru planned for a 50-50 split, but Yang Hong refused to budge, resulting in a 60-40 split. Why wouldn't Yang Hong agree? It was just a typical male perspective. After all, the Mecha Parts Center could potentially be revitalized. If a disagreement arose then, and both had a 50-50 split, whose opinion should prevail? Naturally, it would be the one with the most shares. Therefore, Yang Hong absolutely refused to agree to a 60-40 split, forcing Su Yinru to amend the share certificates again. In fact, Su Yinru indicated that a small percentage of the equity was enough to control Yang Hong, and she was secretly delighted to have 40%. If Yang Hong hadn't been there, she might have clenched her fists and given a few good swings to express her excitement. Who was Su Yinru? In this dumping ground, she was a well-known business figure. If she couldn't revitalize the Mecha Parts Center after taking over, she'd be willing to jump into the river. Now that the share certificate issue was resolved, Yang Hong decided to leave. Fortunately, the girl hadn't posed any threat. Yang Hong admitted he was easily frightened. He didn't dislike Su Yinru, but he disliked her overly violent side. To do something like that in public would be incredibly shameful for a man. Resist? That was so ungentlemanly, Yang Hong couldn't bring himself to resist. Of course, after comparing their strength, Yang Hong realized that even at full power, he might not be a match for the girl. That was the key point. Okay, Yang Hong admitted he couldn't beat her, but so what? If he couldn't beat her, he could at least avoid her. So, Yang Hong decided to leave Bar 12 immediately. Where are you going? Su Yinru asked as Yang Hong opened the door, about to leave. Back to the Mecha Parts Center, of course. Do you think I'm going to stay overnight at Bar 12? Yang Hong blinked. Overnight? Su Yinru immediately blushed. You're planning to stay here overnight, damn. Yang Hong was drenched in sweat, wishing he could slap himself. Why did he have to say overnight? He had initially been pleased that Su Yinru hadn't brought up the truth, but now his eyes were brimming with tears. I just want to go back to the Mecha Parts Center, Yang Hong stammered, his body drenched in cold sweat. Oh, go back to the Mecha Parts Center? Su Yinru's face inexplicably flushed. By the way, I'm going to the Mecha Parts Center too. What are you going there for? Yang Hong was bewildered. As a shareholder, shouldn't I go and check things out? Su Yinru spoke confidently, secretly chuckling to herself. Could he cry? Yang Hong inwardly wailed. Why did he have to say go back to the Mecha Parts Center? Right now, he needed to go home, lie in bed, pull the covers over his head, and cry. Let's go. Su Yinru walked ahead, but seeing Yang Hong still standing there, she turned back and called out sweetly, why aren't you following? I'm coming right now. Yang Hong was in tears. Soon, the two left bar number 12. They hadn't walked far when they heard someone calling, young man, come here quickly. Yang Hong was puzzled. He looked up and immediately broke out in a cold sweat. I wasn't planning on taking a taxi. Why aren't you picking up passengers? What are you doing here? The person calling him was none other than the middle-aged taxi driver from before. And judging from his appearance, he seemed to have been waiting at the entrance of bar number 12 for quite some time. This guy was a chatterbox. Even if he was the only one talking, he could keep going on and on. Yang Hong didn't want to take his car. I'm waiting for you, the middle-aged man laughed heartily. Waiting for me? Yang Hong was sweating profusely. He wasn't a mechanic, why would he be waiting? You haven't paid the fare. Who else should I wait for, taking a ride without paying? Yang Hong blinked, stunned for a while before he remembered that there was actually such a thing. Damn it, this was incredibly embarrassing. Yang Hong wished he could disappear into a crack in the ground. He'd initially found the middle-aged man too talkative, and as soon as the car stopped, he practically scrambled into number 12, never expecting he wouldn't even pay the fare. Why didn't you chase after me for it? Yang Hong was sweating profusely. Why would I chase after you? At this moment, Su Yinru covered her mouth and laughed. In the junkyard, no one dares to owe Uncle Zaba a fare. Uncle Zaba. No one dares to owe a fare? Yang Hong was speechless. Is he the local tyrant? You're the local tyrant. Su Yinru poked Yang Hong's back with her finger, annoyed. Uncle Zaba is one of the top Mecha pilots in the junkyard. What? Looking at the middle-aged man's slightly open, talkative mouth, Yang Hong's logic and integrity crumbled. This guy was actually a Mecha pilot? You doubt me? You doubt Uncle Zaba? Su Yinru pouted. No, Yang Hong was just a little doubtful about life. He couldn't imagine that the talkative man in front of him was actually a mecha pilot. Could it be that being a chatterbox makes one better at piloting mechas? Of course, he couldn't argue with this little brat, Su Yinru. Come on, get in the car. Su Yinru grabbed Yang Hong, shoved him into the back seat, and then climbed into the passenger seat. Uncle Zaba, we're going to the mech parts center, Su Yinru said. Okay, Uncle Zaba turned the steering wheel, and the taxi sped off. Yang Hong, Uncle Zaba is a freelance mech pilot. If you have enough money, why not try hiring him to help you choose? Su Yinru suddenly said after getting in the car. Care for what? Yang Hong asked, confused. Some unscrupulous mech parts dealers will switch out inferior parts when you're not looking, so you need someone who knows a lot about mech parts, Su Yinru explained, and when you're selling retail parts, there are also some bad people who always have bad intentions and want to cheat you out of your new parts. Is that so? Yang Hong was dumbfounded. He was running a business, yet there were still these lawless thugs. Yang Hong suddenly felt like he'd come to the wrong time and space. Can I go back? Yang Hong thought, really wanting to try eating his fill again. Huh? Young man, are you in the mecha parts business? Zaba asked, hearing their conversation. Su Yinru nodded. Young man, are you smuggling goods, or, Uncle Zaba, didn't you hear last night that the Wild Wolf Gang's mecha parts center has changed hands? Su Yinru asked sweetly. Screeched. The taxi suddenly spun around. What happened? What happened? Yang Hong was startled and quickly gripped the seatbelt, asking. Su Yinru was equally surprised and gripped the seatbelt as well. Holy crap, after a moment, Zaba's lips twitched. I'm a little excited, that place. Could it be that you took over it, young man? Zaba's eyes twitched as he asked. Chapter 25 Crazy Taxi. That's right, it's him. Su Yinru wiped away her sweat. Uncle Zaba, the Wild Wolf Gang's mecha parts center has changed hands. You don't need to be so excited. No, just a little excited, Zaba quickly explained. There's someone ahead, watch your car. At Yang Hong's shout, the taxi screeched again, barely avoiding the pedestrian. What on earth was going on? Yang Hong panicked. This Uncle Zaba acted like a completely different person the moment he heard that the Wild Wolf Gang's mecha parts center had changed hands to him. What was his relationship with the Wild Wolf Gang? Was he a close friend, or did they have a blood feud? But, whatever the reason, it didn't seem to concern Yang Hong. His most important thing now was for Uncle Zaba to drive carefully. Seeing that he had narrowly avoided another pedestrian, Yang Hong's heart was pounding. His life was in the hands of this taxi. Seriously, could someone who could drive a taxi like this really be a mecha pilot expert? Yang Hong's panicked little eyes began to question his life once again. You're planning to use the same people as before? Zaba suddenly asked, his expression serious. Are you asking me? Yang Hong glanced at Zaba, then at Su Yinru, countless question marks popping up above his head. Zaba. Su Yinru. Did you take over the mecha parts center? Who else should I ask if not you? Uncle Zaba roared. Watch out, there's someone ahead. Yang Hong panicked again. Screech, the taxi skillfully spun in a circle, narrowly avoiding the pedestrian. Yang Hong was covered in cold sweat, almost crying. Why hadn't he noticed this talkative uncle was so easily agitated? Otherwise, he would never have gotten into this taxi. I'm asking you, are you planning to continue using the Wild Wolf Gang to manage the mecha parts center? Zaba frowned. Finally, he added grumbling, I really don't understand how you managed to win the share certificate from the Wild Wolf Gang. You get so easily flustered over the smallest things. Yang Hong's lips twitched. What did he mean by flustered? This was a matter of life and death, wasn't it? However, he was still honest with Zaba's words, only a few left. I didn't want the rest. You fired everyone? Su Yinru asked in surprise. Yang Hong nodded. But why didn't you discuss it with me before firing them? Su Yinru was inexplicably a little angry. Without people, how can the mech parts center open for business? She owned 40% of the shares, and Yang Hong fired everyone without even informing her. How could the mech parts center open for business? This was her source of pocket money, and she had already invested 2.01 million yuan. Was she really going to lose all that money? 1,000 alpacas were instantly ready to be unleashed in Su Yinru's mind. That's all right, Zaba nodded. Those people were all from the Wild Wolf Gang. They couldn't do anything right. It's no big deal to fire them, but, Su Yinru pouted. It's fine, Yang Hong didn't seem to care. Money can't be earned overnight, but people are plentiful. Seeing Yang Hong's nonchalant attitude, Su Yinru was furious. If she weren't in a taxi, she would have punched him a few times. Oh, I didn't expect you to be involved too. Zaba was surprised. HMPH, Su Yinru replied angrily. Since you fired them, you probably haven't found replacements yet, right? Zaba suddenly asked with a sly smile. What do you want? Yang Hong's eyebrows twitched. He was most afraid of this kind of smile. I have a lot of brothers who are unemployed. If you can recruit them all to the Mecha Parts Center, I might consider it, even working for you for free for a few years, Zaba said. Really? Yang Hong's eyes lit up. Zaba is a Mecha pilot, after all. Although we don't know his exact skill level, since Su Yinru praised him so highly, he can't be weak. Plus, he can also be an expert in the Mecha Parts trade. Hiring someone like that wouldn't be cheap. Besides, the Mecha Parts Center really needs manpower right now, so Yang Hong immediately agreed. Okay, but I have a condition. Hey, you're making decisions on your own again. Su Yinru was impatient. Go away, I'm the big boss, I make all the decisions. Yang Hong was quite proud of insisting on a 60% stake. And now it came in handy. Su Yinru was speechless, and could only whisper, just don't regret it later. Okay, what's the condition? Zaba seemed particularly happy at this point. 10 years, you have to work for me for at least 10 years. Yang Hong held up 2 hands. By the way, it's free, 10 years. Zaba was stunned. Su Yinru, who knew the inside story, covered her mouth and chuckled to herself. With Zaba's abilities, 10 years of free labor would be enough to cover the salaries of his subordinates. People. There are people ahead. Yang Hong pointed ahead, breaking out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, his heart was naturally strong, otherwise, riding in Zaba's taxi would have definitely given him a heart attack if he didn't have a strong heart. Luckily, Zaba was skilled, easily avoiding 1 or 2 pedestrians. After they were out of the way, he gave a wry smile. You kid, you really dare to talk like that? 10 years of free labor, not many people would dare to say that to me, so, are you coming or not? Yang Hong picked his nose. Can you guarantee that the Mecha Parts Center will survive for more than 10 years? Zaba narrowed his eyes and asked seriously. 10 years? Yang Hong was a little arrogant. Don't you know who I am? 10 years is nothing. Hearing this, Su Yinru's eyes twitched. Right now, the Mecha Parts Center barely had any employees. Besides, Yang Hong was having trouble even getting supplies and finding customers. 10 years? Su Yinru would be overjoyed if she didn't lose all 2.01 million she invested. Alright, as long as you can recruit all my subordinates, I'll work for you for free for 10 years. After thinking it over, Zaba finally made his decision. Okay, it's a deal. Yang Hong was secretly delighted to have tricked someone back, and Su Yinru was equally happy. Soon, they arrived at the Mecha Parts Center. Zaba didn't go in, he needed to go back to handle the cleanup and gather his subordinates. Watching Yang Hong's retreating figure, Zaba's eyes flashed with a sharp light. I hope you don't disappoint me, otherwise no one can save you in this junkyard. Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly remembered something and let out another wail. Damn it, this kid didn't pay for the ride again. I'm going to be eating dirt today. He accidentally deleted the message. What a mess. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.